yours. The disobedient child would have been disciplined. But today, there is little societal punishment for anything. Social disorder is accepted by progressive government, responsible parenting not even encouraged in many places. The result is a permanent underclass of criminals. You see it now. Young males eagerly entering into violent drug gangs where criminal acts are a way of life. Most of these miscreants are unable to earn a living or even utter a comprehensive sentence. They're covered with tattoos, communicate using constant obscenities, and could not care less who they harm. Sell fentanyl? Bring it on. This is urban America today. Again, who is doing anything about it other than good people in social occupations? Any politician bringing it up? Not that I know of. Back after this.
Every morning, the president wakes up to a top secret brief on America's biggest challenges. Ever wished you were in the room? Of course you have. I'm Mike Baker, former CIA ops officer, and I'm here to give you the next best thing. Welcome to the President's Daily Brief podcast. Every weekday, I break down the day's most pressing issues in just 20 minutes. Get briefed. Stay ahead. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom lovers. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Vic.
How are you, baby?
Good, man.
All right, big show today, my gosh. Once again, we offer you this every once in a while. We have two Jews, no waiting. Karen Kataline starting us off. Alan Dershowitz is going to be with us at 9:41 today. It almost not enough time to talk to a guy like Alan Dershowitz, going from 9:41 and we're at that pressure, the hard break at the top of the air, but we'll try to squeeze in as much as we can. Careening into the abyss. She's not Jewish, is she? No, she's not Jewish. No. So just by chance, Luis Valdes, we had him already scheduled to go. He is a national spokesman for Gun Owners of America. And if there were more gun owners armed last night, this jackass wouldn't have shot 22 people shot 50 people and killed 22.
Yeah, they're probably still counting too.
Because Maine does not have strict gun laws.
No.
Somebody should have had a gun.
And well, we've talked about it before. That's why I carry it. That's why you do, Vic. It's just a thing that people need to not be afraid of. And I think what the media is doing right now, and primarily the Biden administration, is they're trying to put fear in people of not carrying. Don't carry because it's scary. Don't do that whole thing, and then put pressure on people to not do it otherwise.
Exactly right. Porcelli's Deli at 10:25 today. We're going to teach you how to talk like a New Jersey Italian. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And then today's date in 1985, there is very special significance to that day. That's all I'll say. And we'll do that at 10:41. Right now, though, let's do our Pledge of Allegiance. Ken, who leads us this morning in the Pledge of Allegiance?
All right, Vic, I have to say this from rural Missouri, mail carrier, our listener, Michelle Lee Scarlett.
We love her. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Michelle. We like Michelle. She is a letter carrier, special place in my heart for letter carriers. And she just likes us, and we like her, and she makes fun of me because I can't say rural. You can get your favorite coffee, all right? They're not trying to get you to drink any other coffee than the coffee you already drink, delivered to your home or office, and you can get 25% off with the promo code TRUMP at discountcoffee.com. All right, June number 1.
the one and only Karen Kataline.
Did you know that I'm married to a trucker? I feel like using a Yiddish word, famished. Spoiling in front of my computer, I am. They're just too dumb to lie. He has the effect of 6 shots of scotch.
Good morning, Karen Kataline.
Well, hey there, Ken and Vic. It is good to talk to you both, as always.
You are always Jew number one with us. Always.
Well, let me just say, because I heard Alan Dershowitz is going to come on, and I got into a screaming argument with him a couple years ago when he told me, and he told my audience, that the government should be able to plunge a needle into your arm if they want.
Wow.
Now, I know he's not coming on to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's changed his mind. I'm sure he's going to talk about Israel. Oh, really? Because he is quite eloquent on that subject. And, you know, you've heard this before. 2 Jews, 3 opinions.
That's
He's
right.
very eloquent on that.
Yep.
But if you've talked to Leslie Manookian, who I mentioned, Alan Dershowitz, I had her on my program on Tuesday. I mentioned him, and she said, well, he's just plain mistaken. Not true. False. Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that we shouldn't mention Karen Kataline to him?
Oh, you can if you want. Forgive me. I sure he doesn't know who I am, unless you went to a lot of trouble to say, you know, that chick who gave you a hard time and you threatened, you're going to lose me. He said, you're going to lose me. I went,
We don't want to
yeah,
lose him.
so
if we bring that up at all, we'll wait till the end of the interview.
Well, he was famous for saying that back then. And I just wonder, you know, okay, 2.5, 3 years have passed. You still thinking that?
Yeah.
Just wonder. Maybe I should try to get him on, unless he knows who I am, and he'll probably say, "Nah, I think I'll pass."
So that's one of 2 questions. We also want to ask him, so you're going to vote Republican now? Do you vote Republican? Because he's been a Democrat his whole life, right?
Yes, he has.
All
Like
right.
a good many Jews.
So
Yeah.
every time we talk to Karen Kataline, I go to her Twitter feed to see what's up, see what she's thinking. And then the first thing I see is, the latest from John Zemerick. John Zemerick, your little boyfriend.
Yeah, it's pretty controversial. He says, to get right to the point, he says Israel should bypass attacking Hamas. They should go right to attacking military targets in Iran, since Iran is the one that is funding and training all this to begin with. But, you know, he does it with the idea of a PR war. And I have said many times, the PR and the propaganda war is all a part of this. But part of me is uneasy about that, doing it simply to win a PR war that Israel cannot really win at this point. But can I tell you what's been on my mind that I didn't have time to tweet it because I just didn't. I saw
Too busy
something.
thinking about John Zemerick. I get it. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Right. Fantasize about that guy. No, I don't.
I know you do. Yes, you do. You go
No,
go to the movies with him. Yes, you do. Go ahead. So what's on your mind?
Well, I got an email from Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk. And he did, I'm on a lot of newsletter lists. And he talks about the rabid anti-Semitism on college campuses and this shocking amount of pro-Hamas protesting that we're seeing. And because conservatives, let me see if I can be succinct about this, because conservatives try to hold fast to long-held principles like we don't make someone guilty by association. In this case, they should be held guilty by association because, after all, they're the ones, the radical left, who pushed this very, very anti-intellectual idea of intersectionality. If you agree with us on one thing, you have to agree with us on everything, even if you fully disagree. For example, you fought your whole life for Title IX sports for women, but now you have to be with us when we want a 250-pound male to pummel a woman in a wrestling ring, right? Because you're an intersectional feminist.
Right.
They're the ones who created that, even when, so I said that. They're the anti-Semites who are always anti-American, always anti-freedom, and pro-Marxist, always. If you look, you will see that all of these, sadly, horrifyingly, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist groups have bought into the zombie victimology, but they've also bought into Marxism. Because is there a free Arab Muslim country in this world that is as free as Israel? No. They go hand in hand. Tyranny, Marxism, and terrorism go together, and these people are cheering it. So conservatives need to stop worrying about guilt by association, because in this case, they are guilty by association.
Yeah, no kidding. Well said, Karen Kataline.
Thank you.
All right.
It's less than 29 characters on Twitter, so I'm glad I got to say it here.
So the college kids, right? Now they're actually risking having a career, right? Just to be part of the in crowd, just to be a hipster and say, "Oh, I'm for Hamas and Israel are colonizers and all that." And now, even right here close to home, Ken, Washington University is walking out to protest for Hamas.
It's amazing to me. It is just simply amazing to me.
What do you think?
This has been festering for years and even decades right under our noses. This doesn't happen overnight. It's full and complete indoctrination. And shameless plug, I'm going to have somebody on my show today who talks about the utter moronic insanity of Queers for Palestine. I mean, that tells you how wise and intelligent and informed these people are. They do not know, because the media, I think we've talked about this, refuses to tell them that Muslim countries throw gay people off buildings and hang them from cranes. And yet a Twitter thing I saw said that LGBT people would be much safer in Gaza than they would in Florida.
Go give it a shot. Go give it a try. Go ahead. Bring your little Queers for Palestine sign. Let them know you're queer. Get out there, and then we'll wave to you as you go from the top of the building to the ground.
And they're mistaken about all the other stuff that they bought into and jumped on the bandwagon about as well.
You know what?
And so somebody's indoctrinating them, and we kind of know who they are.
And you bring that up in such a great way, because these kids all think they know everything, right?
Yes.
They're so informed. They're so hip. Oh, no, Israel's bad. Hamas is good. What's wrong with you people? And then nobody told them that they throw homosexuals off the top of buildings. Really?
No.
I thought you were so hip and so smart and so in the know.
They would call you anti-gay if you even said that. Well, that's not true.
Yeah, well, I'll give it a shot.
It's amazing how they could put one foot in front of the other. I'm sorry. It's just amazing. And their sense of doubt, their sense of questioning, their sense of their ability to disagree with the orthodoxy has been rooted out of them.
Yeah.
That's anti-freedom right there. We know it. We've seen it. We know.
Well, now it hits home here.
I pulled out, I'm sorry, I'm a little wired today, and I didn't even have coffee.
We love it when you get wired.
I pulled off my shelf a book that I don't even know if is in print anymore. To tell you how old it is, it was $6.99 US. That's like when you have a book that says 99 cents, you went, oh, that's an old one. It's The Joys of Yiddish by Leo Roston. And it is a hilarious book. I was going to buy you one, and I thought, you know what? I'll just hold on to it and see. I'll buy you one.
I want one.
But you want one?
Yes, I want one. All I know is vermischt and verhacked and verblunget.
Well, last week I told you that I was running out of Yiddish words that I knew, and I thought, I'm not. There's so many more I don't know, and this book reminds me. And there's some I really don't. But his descriptions are marvelous. And forgive me for not having one at hand here, because I just opened the book. But I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll get you a book.
Definitely want a copy of that.
And it's very funny. He's the one, I think, who first said Yiddish is the only language where phlegm is a consonant.
Yeah, you've said that on the show many times.
I know, and I think that's where. Oh, and the all wonderful the difference between a schlemiel and a schlemazel.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what it is? Because a lot of people go, okay, what's a schlemiel and what's a schlemazel?
Yeah, let's hear it.
A schlemiel is the guy who pours coffee on you, and the schmazel is the one he pours it on.
Wait a minute. First of all, why would you pour coffee on someone?
Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say it was a mistake.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
So it's definitely
But
not in the cup. It's on the person.
He
a
spills
schlemiel.
it. He spills it accidentally.
On a
But you know, there are
schlemazel.
people that are always getting, crapped on.
Yeah.
And some more than others because they seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's a schlemazel.
So you got to wonder then, right? At the
Yeah.
beginning of every Laverne and Shirley show, why they threw those two words into the opening. Spilling coffee on somebody has nothing to do with anything in that opening or in that show.
No, but the words are so
Fun.
great. And of course, Gary Marshall was quintessentially Jewish. So
And it was an accident, I
and
think.
so is Penny.
And because it was an accident, and a lot of things in their life at that time, if you remember, it was just always something going on as an accident, So maybe that had
that's so
something
funny.
to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Marshall directed one of my favorite movies, Overboard. Have you ever seen Overboard?
Yeah. Oh,
Isn't that a sweet and cute movie?
Let me tell you,
That's
okay?
a charming
I
movie.
almost choke up. I still to this day.
Yeah.
I know.
When he says, Katarina, and she goes, Arturo!
Arturo!
Oh, God, I was about to cry.
And
But-
man, is that a sexy woman. Man, oh man.
You bet. You
Woo!
bet. And in
Yeah.
one of the scenes when they're in a bar and the band is playing, Gary Marshall is the drummer. So look
Is
close.
he really?
Yeah, he's playing the drums like he knows what he's doing.
Oh, wow.
Using the brushes, and they use the brushes, that kind of sound.
He's made a few good movies in his time,
And
just a few.
Penny
A lot.
Marshall directed A League of Their Own,
Yes, she did. I
which is
know
my
this.
second favorite baseball movie. And Gary Marshall plays the owner of the
Yeah.
whole league. And
Yes.
he says, Iowa, we're winning the war. It's like so New York Jew that that accent.
Send them home.
We're winning the war. We don't need them. I love them, don't need them.
Yeah,
Karen.
that was very, very good.
So,
Uh-huh.
just know we're always thinking about you while all this stuff is going on.
Thank you.
And, try
And
to.
just remember, this is unfortunately, and I'm sorry to keep saying this, but they go after the Jews because they're the easy scapegoats in many respects. But sadly, the people that have gone after the Jews as the scapegoats didn't just have Jews in mind.
Yeah, when
They're
I was on my
always coming after the next group.
When I was on my little binge about 5-6 months ago, I was just, sometimes you just get hooked in to all these, Third Reich documentaries, and I remember coming on the air and saying, Ken, how did the world let this happen? How did we let this happen? Guess what? We're watching how they let it happen because we're letting it happen again.
We have never understood better how that could have happened in Germany because we're watching the same propaganda. We're watching the same shutting down of differences of opinion, of isolating and demonizing a certain group of people, which is bigoted and racist, and they're doing it in the name of anti-bigotry and anti-racism. I mean, this is really diabolical stuff. It is.
All right, KarenKataline.com. Next week, if you can tear yourself away from John Zemeric to join us again, that'd be great. Okay.
Well, maybe you ought to invite him on with me and we can go.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
No, it will not be great. We're not doing that.
Okay.
All right, do this with me as we finish. All right, Katarina.
Arturo.
Hello, girl. Karen, thanks. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I love that part of that movie. I swear to
I know.
It's
great,
so stupid. And one of his kids likes to talk like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my mom back.
Right.
On the thing on the boat. Oh, my God. All right. Let's get serious here. All right, let's get serious. Porcelli's Deli today at 10:20. I should have told Karen if she wants to talk like a New Jersey Italian. She can learn at 10:25 on Porcelli's Deli. Luis Valdes, who is a spokesperson, national spokesperson for Gun Owners of America. Would have came in handy last night in Maine for sure. Alan Dershowitz, the legend, will join us at 9:41 today. Coming up next, we have to do this really?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, Ken's the boss, careening into the abyss. Who cares? On 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL.
Whoosh.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Town of Rolling Stone will be back.
And what did I say? I didn't. I said Rolling Fork, Rolling Stone. I got my mind going here.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
How ironic. He doesn't have his mind going. Yeah. And let me say, Ken, thank you for playing Jessica by the Allman Brothers Band. It was for my wife. It always is whenever you hear it. Even if you're not even listening, no matter where you are on the globe, if you hear Jessica by the Allman Brothers Band, it's for my wife. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely. That's
All
why
right.
I played it.
Thank you, man. I remember you played that one day when I really needed it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
So listen, tough conversations, right? Conversations that nobody wants to talk about because sometimes we don't want to plan for things that we don't want to have happen. So obviously we don't want to talk about it. And what I'm talking about is long-term care, okay? You don't know when or if you're going to need long-term care. Hey, if not, fantastic. All that money you got put away for retirement, you're good. You're fine. Wait, you do need long-term care? You need to know how to manage that, and you need to know how to get tax-efficient solutions to get through that and still maintain the lifestyle that you deserve and want and need. So Chris Cooper is the guy to do that. Chris Cooper is with Serenity Wealth Management. He is our great triple threat. He's a CPA, a financial strategist, and a long-term care planning specialist, all in one guy. You get all this information in one guy. He's got a book he wrote, and he wants to give it to you for free. It's called The CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care. Get it for free at serenityltc.com. That's serenityltc.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. This is a paid endorsement. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Serenity Now!
Live and local.
Well, here's what's on my mind. I think I got the solution to immigration.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Do I have a place for you folks as we head into these beautiful fall weather months? Espino's Mexican Grill. You can find them 24/7 at espinosmexicanbargrill.com, and you can find them 24/7, 365 at 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road, right in the heart of Chesterfield Valley, just off of Interstate 6440. Espino's Mexican Grill, nearly 2 decades in the business. I've been going there for years. They have a fantastic menu of authentic Mexican fare, not the typical stuff you get around town, and the coldest drinks around. Did I mention the margarita patio? That's what I call it, outside. Fantastic addition that Espino's put in several years ago. Espino's is a fresh alternative to the typical stuff you get. Once you go once, you'll be back many, many times. Check them out online, espinosmexicanbargrill.com, located at 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road. Best authentic Mexican fare and best coldest drinks around in town.
I have only one recommendation for you when it comes to jewelry. Vincent's Jewelers. I've had Vincent's custom make some pieces for me. I bought quality pieces right out of the case. Vincent's locally owned, supporting local charities for more than 42 years. Check their website daily for new items or specials. VincentsJewelers.com. VincentsJewelers.com. Give Vincent's a chance for your business. Vincent's, my only jeweler.
The news and talk
Americans are angry at being left out, left behind, swindled.
That matters to St. Louis.
Being held hostage by Hamas. There's no plans to put U.S. boots on the ground here?
1019 and 94.1. News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
On News Talk STL.
Welcome home to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That's Ken Williams. Hi, Ken.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. All right. So listen, Alan Dershowitz is going to join us in the next break, and so many things to talk to him about. He's stuck up for Donald Trump a lot.
He has, yeah.
I mean, he used to be a guy we hated Alan Dershowitz. Live, you don't talk to him, and now he's starting to come through, and at least just and not from a biased point of view, from a constitutional point of view. I'm not saying that These are both Chris. I sent you one with the girls. This is Chris. My wife made both of them. Okay.
Well, so, what are you doing? We have to say what's going on here.
So
Katie, get on the microphone real quick.
He's crazy.
Katie asked us.
Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Tell everybody what you asked us to do.
So, but we should probably tell the story from the beginning, which is your story.
Yeah. Which is the Groucho Marx story?
No, it was a different story that you told yesterday. You remember?
Oh, yes. So when my girls were little, Marielle wanted to be Cinderella, right? Beautiful princess. And Mia wanted to be McDonald's French fries.
I thought that was amazing. So you said McDonald's French fries. Ken said that Caddy made all of the costumes for his kids.
All of them, yeah.
So I think we all brainstormed and I came up with an idea for Halloween that we should be having photos, your favorite photos of your kids' costumes, fur baby costumes, grandkids' costumes, whatever the case may be.
Even pets, maybe.
Even pets. So if you have those favorite costumes, I asked the hosts to bring in pictures and then we can post them on Halloween.
And you got mine, right?
Oh, I got yours. Absolutely.
Good
I don't
deal.
want to show the camera these pictures.
No,
though.
no.
It's got to be a social media little exclusive on Facebook on Halloween. So make sure on Halloween you check out these photos because it's just perfect. It's perfect.
On Halloween Day, I'll tell the Groucho Marx story.
Yes. Yes.
Katie, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Katie.
guys.
We love you. Katie Fitzpatrick.
I
Okay.
live with ideas like that all the time.
Yeah, but it's funny how some of the best ideas just happened in regular, fun little conversations.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
I just happened to mention that Mia, of all the little girls, want to be princesses, right? They want to be Cinderella.
Of
they want
course.
a famous prince. Nope, I want to be McDonald's French fries. And damn it, we found her in a McDonald's French fries costume. All right, let's get rolling here, if we must. Let's do it. Calm down.
And now on the Vic Porcelli Show, the peaceful, relaxing sounds of
Oopsie daisy. Look out, Karine. Oh, wow. Whoa, you did triple doit Thursday.
Oh.
Okay.
You can always. Never.
You can face the
There are never too many doits.
No, I don't agree. I think double doit Thursday is what we do. You made it triple doit Thursday.
I did.
So address your cards and letters to Ken at NewstalkSTL.com. All right. The press secretary, her name always seems to escape me.
Robespierre!
Yeah, that's it. Karine Robespierre, right?
No, it's Karine Jean-Pierre.
Okay, I don't care. All right. So when she gets to the podium here, we will let her talk. Oh, there she is already. Thank you. Well, that was good too. That was right in beat. Nice stuff. Only a musician can do that. Only a cat can do
Only
that.
a cat.
All right. Are we ready?
Or a kitten.
Well, that's me. I'm a kitten. I'm a kitten with cat-like reflexes.
Right.
Okay. Just want to make sure everybody understands. Can Karine me?
The American people is counting on us, and the president is doing his job. He's doing his job domestically and as commander-in-chief.
Okay. He's doing his job as commander-in-chief. But when he comes down the baby steps on Air Force One, you see Trump said he has to come down the baby steps. There's 2 Marines down there that he's supposed to salute as the commander-in-chief.
Right.
So he can't even get that right.
No.
And we think he's got a grip on this, on the military and strategy and war strategies. Really?
The man has no idea. And if you notice the very beginning, she says, the American people is.
The American people is counting on us.
Oh
The American people, Vic, is counting on us.
I don't want to. I will start making mistakes and get myself in trouble if I go any further on what you're talking about there. If that's okay with you, I would rather just move on
Let's
to the
go.
next one. Ken, Karine me.
Make something clear at the top, because I understand how important moral clarity is, especially at this time.
Stop. When, in God's name, have you ever had more clarity? Ever? Any clarity whatsoever?
No.
Go ahead.
So when Jews are targeted because of their beliefs or their identity, when Israel is singled out because of anti-Jewish hatred, that is anti-Semitism.
Right. We already knew that.
Yeah.
The problem is, all right, you know what we should do? We should tie these two together. Ken.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is, so what she's trying to do there is make up for the absolutely idiotic response when a reporter asked her about anti-Semitism rising now because of what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Is that a good setup for this?
Yes.
Okay, Ken Karine me.
His level of concern right now about the potential rise of anti-Semitism in light of everything that's going on in Israel?
So a couple of things. We have not seen any credible threats. I know there's been always questions about credible threats. And so just want to make sure that that's out there. But look, Muslim and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. And certainly President Biden understands that many of our Muslim, Arab Americans and Palestinian American loved ones and neighbors are worried about the hate being directed at their communities.
Okay. What she doesn't understand is life. I mean, it's just that simple. She does not understand life and what happens in this country. Okay. Anti-Semitism has been around in this country since 1948 or even before. I'm just saying Israel as a country because that's when they became a country, right?
Yeah.
1948. Clearly, I don't have to tell you what happened during the 1930s and 40s to Jewish people. And she took a question about rising anti-Semitism in this country, and she twisted it around to rising Islamophobia in this country.
Right.
Really? I mean, so this guy stabbed that kid. Remember, he stabbed the Muslim kid. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And the left, they jumped all over the Islamophobia bandwagon, right? That guy clearly had mental problems.
Well, sure.
Same thing as the gun problem. Same thing as his main shooting. Okay.
Right.
It's not the guns. It wasn't the knife. It was mental illness. And it wasn't even, it may have been Islamophobia. I don't know. But this Jewish woman at the synagogue gets stabbed to death outside her home. Actually, I think she got stabbed in her home and then struggled outside of the home. She's dead. And the left does not want to say that that is anti-Semitism. The police don't even want to say it's anti-Semitism. And they don't even have a suspect. They don't even have a person of interest. They don't even know what that person looks like. And yet they're ready to say this was Islam. This is not anti-Semitism.
It's crazy what this world is going through right now. And it's so obvious that some of the sources are through the media. And the media is more complicit in this than they even realize.
Agreed.
And I think they do realize a lot of it. But there's some unintentional things happening here. First of all, she's an imbecile. Right?
That's first and foremost.
I mean, but to my point here is that the reason why it is so inflammatory is because she's looking at a book and she's reading from a folder that she has no idea what she's reading. And then she turns around and cannot figure out why people are so inflamed about her actions.
So she's reading. Why did she pick that particular portion to read?
Great point.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it. She's reading. So she turned to, okay, what's your question about anti-Semitism? Okay, so let's look up Islamophobia and give you an answer about that. Why didn't she look up anti-Semitism in a little binder?
That's her uneducated inability to perform that job. That anybody else, Vic, would have had the empathy or sympathy to do what you just said,
Yeah.
but she didn't.
Does she know what's going on? I mean,
No, I don't
does
think
she
so.
know?
I
Does she
really
know what
don't.
happened on October 7th? Or you think she really doesn't know? She can't be that stupid to not know.
I don't know. I don't know whether she cared, whether she was just listening to her Echo Dome that she was in. I don't know.
All right, do you want to do one more? We have Alan Dershowitz coming up.
No.
Okay. That's all the time we have for Okay, let's go. Coming up next, Alan Dershowitz is going to join us. I'm sure you've seen him on television. You know who he is. He has written a book called Get Trump. He doesn't want to get Trump. He's talking about how the left wants to get Trump. Brilliant. He's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to The Vic Porcelli Show.
The big lie is a lot of bullshit. That's what it is.
Now look here, I don't like that kind of talk. Now just stop it. It upsets me.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
It's
Thursday at 4:20, we'll speak with the Heritage Foundation's Dakota Wood, and at 5:20, we'll speak with Johnny Harper, 1983 Beirut bombing survivor.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hi, Sean Long for STL Fenceworks. STL Fenceworks is proud and excited to install American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products, as well as American-made decking. For instance, STL Fenceworks has teamed up with Jareth Manufacturing. Jareth invented the aluminum fence industry over 50 years ago. The Jareth product is wholly sourced and manufactured in the U.S., and STL Fenceworks is the third largest Jareth customer in the world. STL Fenceworks is vinyl fencing also, and not just white. We partner with National Vinyl Products to provide you with tan, clay, gray, and variegated wood grain vinyl fence products too, all made in the U.S. Not to be forgotten, STL Fenceworks is maintenance-free decking. STL Fenceworks is the #1 distributor of Wolf Cellular PVC in the Midwest, proudly manufactured in the U.S. and voted #1 maintenance-free decking product in the United States. Let STL Fenceworks make your outdoor space magical. Visit stlfenceworks.com today and learn how we can make your backyard dreams into a reality. At STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Eva Shock, the attorney who originally made red light cameras illegal in the state of Missouri. How is the mayor bringing back red light cameras?
If everybody doesn't want red light camera tickets, why would aldermen vote for it? Well, they must have no fear of the voters. That tells you something's wrong with the voting habits of the public.
And they're Democrats.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here with a great offer from Zero Res. Just mentioned the Colombo special. When you book a cleaning in October, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129 plus $50 off an air duct cleaning. We've trusted Zero Res with our home for years, and 5,000 Google reviews with an average of 4.9 out of 5 says it all. Zero Res is the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. Just remember to mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
I'm Newt Gingrich, and you're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Welcome home to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Coming up for the rest of the way today, Porcelli's Deli at 10:25. We're going to teach you how to speak like an authentic Italian, New Jersey Italian.
Awesome.
You up for that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make you. You're my guinea pig.
Okay, I'm always a guinea pig for you.
Luis Valdes, who is a national spokesperson for the Gun Owners of America, and joining us now, it is an honor and a privilege. Alan Dershowitz, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Hey, I know how to talk Brooklyn Italian. I grew up with Brooklyn Italians. All of my friends grew up in Sicily. We knew what to say. What's the matter? What do you think?
Let me give you a word and see how you say it. Okay. Some people would say mozzarella. How would you say that?
I never had it. It wasn't kosher.
Okay.
So for me, forget about mozzarella.
Okay. All right. So kosher. So Dershowitz. That's a. Are you Jewish? Is that a Jewish name?
Yeah. I'm Jewish. All my friends were Sicilian, and our mothers would sit together on the corner and bemoan what's happening to our children. No tradition. Look what's going on. And I remember once a friend of my mother came in and said, "Oh, the worst thing that possibly happened. My daughter is marrying outside of the faith." And my mother said, "Who's she marrying?" An Irish kid.
Oh no!
No, he's Irish Catholic, not Italian Catholic. What's going on with the traditions? So I'm used to that.
Haven't they ever seen Fiddler on the Roof? For God's sakes.
Forget about it.
Wow, this is great. All right, so listen, I got to tell you, for years and years, Mr. Dershowitz, I didn't like you. You know what I mean? You're very liberal, and you're always on TV pushing liberal causes. And now, I don't know, have you just seen the light? Because you're talking, and I know you're just talking constitutionally, which means that
I haven't changed one bit. I've always defended the Constitution. People come to me on the street all the time, the opposite, and they say, we used to like you. Now we hate you. And my answer is always, you never should have liked me. I was never on your side.
Right.
I was always on the side of the Constitution. Sometimes the Constitution comes out on the left. Sometimes it comes out on the right. These days, the people who are being oppressed by the Constitution are conservatives, are Trump supporters. So I'm on their side.
Right.
When it was liberals who were being oppressed by McCarthyism, I was on their side. I don't take political sides. I support the First Amendment, due process, the Constitution. That's who I am. So I'm never going to have people like me. They're going to like me for the moment. But then when my principles operate against their politics, they dislike me. You were the opposite. You didn't like me. Now you like me. You shouldn't like me now because I'm going to turn against you someday. Don't worry.
So funny. So let's talk about the threat to civil liberties, due process, and the constitutional rule of law. Your book, Get Trump, sounds like on the surface, oh, look, Dershowitz wants to get Trump. But you're actually talking about people who run for office on the promise of getting Trump, right?
Right. The title comes from the campaign promise of the District Attorney of Manhattan and the Attorney General of New York. They both ran on the platform of getting Trump. You know, it's kind of like what, I don't want to make comparisons to Stalin ever, but it's what Lavrenti Beria, the head of the KGB, said to Stalin: show me the man and I'll find you the crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. They went after Trump to try to find material, and they found nothing. So the District Attorney of Manhattan indicted him for failing to disclose the fact that he paid hush money. Under that theory, Alexander Hamilton would have put in jail,
right,
for paying hush money to the woman he had an affair with.
Right.
And then New York's going after him because they think he overvalued his property. You know, the judge valued Mar-a-Lago at $17 million. How about the two of us get together? We'll buy it for $17 million. And within one day, we'll flip it for 10 times that.
Right. Well, that's brilliant.
It's absurd.
That is brilliant. All right, so I just want to throw in really quickly. I'm almost ashamed to say this, that I learned about the Alexander Hamilton affair and stuff from the musical. I didn't realize that.
Of course, everybody did. Everybody did.
Yeah, right. Just want to say.
You know, I have the actual original pamphlet, the original that Alexander Hamilton wrote, in which he admitted the affair, but correctly denied that he paid out of government funds.
Wow.
But, you know, we've had scandals like this throughout our history. Nobody ever goes after the man running for president against the incumbent unless, you know, it's the most serious crime and you have a videotape confession. But to make up these cases against Donald Trump just to affect the election, which is exactly what they're doing, is in violation of everything the Constitution stands for. You know, I have a podcast called The Dershow, and every day I award bananas, a scale of 10 for a banana republic. We're up to 6.
I love that.
I hope we never get to 7, but we're up to 6, and that's pretty bad. 6 on a scale of 10.
Yeah, but this scale is as important as the DEF CON scale, right? The Banana Republic scale. Listen, now Donald Trump has been fined $10,000 for violating a gag order. Constitutionally, is that gag order even constitutional?
No, it's not. He's presumed innocent. He has the same rights as you and I do. He can't try to bribe witnesses or influence witnesses, but he can call the judge a bum. He called him a thug. That's America. You know, I've called judges bums and thugs, never in public, but in private among my friends. That's part of being an American. You're entitled to go after the prosecutor who went after you. You're entitled to go after the judge. You're not entitled to intimidate the juries. But no, that's not what the gag order covers. The gag order covers, court personnel. These are public people who are paid by the government. And when you're paid by the government, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
So is he going to beat all this or what?
No, he's going to beat it eventually in the Court of Appeals. But in the trial courts, remember, these cases are being tried in places where the jury veneer hates Trump. Look at D.C., 95% of the people who are going to be on the jury veneer hate Trump, voted against him. New York, 75%. Fulton County, probably 65%. The only place we can get a fair jury is in Palm Beach, Florida. So he's going to be convicted. And then I think a lot of the convictions will be reversed on appeal. I go over all of the cases, all 4 of them, in my book, Get Trump. And so, you know, you can read the analysis. But actually, for this last 2 weeks, I've not been focusing on Trump. The day that the Hamas invaded Israel and murdered, raped, beheaded all these people, I dropped everything and I wrote another book in 10 days. I wrote a book called The War Against Jews, How to Stop Hamas's Barbarity. And that book will be out in a couple of weeks, and you can actually order it in advance on Amazon. It's already, the cover of the book is already on Amazon. It may get into the book of Guinness Book of Records for the fastest book ever written. I will have finished it in 10 days.
All right. I want to get into all that with you in detail, but just another quick question about Trump. With everything that you've just said to us this morning, that, he'll be convicted and all that, will any of that keep him from running and or being president?
Absolutely not.
Perfect.
Constitutionally says you have to be, 35. You have to be born in America, and you can't have fought in the Civil War against the North. So I don't think. I mean, he's old, but he's not old enough.
Joe Biden is. Joe Biden, I think.
Biden, on the other hand,
right. That's so funny.
He probably fought for the North. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Israel. Surrounded by enemies. Hamas goes in and commits the worst atrocity against the Jewish people since the Holocaust, which is such a damning statement. And yet you see kids, at your old college, Mr. Dershowitz, protesting for Hamas. What don't they understand, those kids?
Well, including among the people who were killed was a friend of mine, a general in the Israeli army who had a mentally retarded son and built a whole facility for mentally retarded Israelis. And he lost 5 members of his family. 3 were killed and 2 were hopefully still alive, but are being held as hostage. So, it comes close to home. And these idiots at Harvard, I probably taught some of them. I can't believe that I looked these kids in the eye and they blame it on Israel. Or take the National Lawyers Guild. It's an organization of tens of thousands of American lawyers. They're in every major law school in the country. They have branches. They came out a day after these horrible events, these beheadings, these rapes, these murders, and they completely supported Hamas, saying it's okay to do anything, use any means in order to end the occupation. Of course, by the occupation, they mean all of Israel, from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free of Jews. That means there'll be no Jews anywhere in the area. And these people, these students, these hard left students who have been inculcated by their professors for years, now are supporting the murderers. They're supporting the rapists. And this is a group, Hamas. There's a group called Gays for Palestine. I would urge Gays for Palestine to go to Gaza and try to put up a booth in Gaza. They'd be hanged the next day. Transgendered people for Palestine. You can't be transgendered in Palestine and be alive. Women for Palestine. If you're a woman in Gaza, you're going to be oppressed. And yet these people are willing to give them a pass on all these issues, because as long as you're against Jews, as long as you're against the nation state of the Jewish people, you get a pass on rape, you get a pass on beheading, you get a pass on anti-gay attitudes, as long as you're against Jews in Israel. This is core anti-Semitism coming from the hard left.
We have said on this show many times, how in the 1940s, 30s, and 40s did we let that happen? How did the world let that happen? We're watching the world let it happen again, even to the point where we're hearing the word solution.
Yep.
Yeah, no, of course, it's the final solution. Look, I live in an area of New York, in the Upper East Side. The streets of the Upper East Side in 1939 were filled with 100,000 Americans, students, doing Heil Hitler salutes, wearing Nazi uniforms, carrying swastika flags. They marched to Madison Square Garden. 20,000 people went into Madison Square Garden and did Heil Hitler salutes, praising Hitler. Harvard University welcomed Nazis. They sent a delegation to a university that had just fired all of its Jewish professors. Yale University had students who were supporting Nazism. So don't be surprised what students do. Students and professors tend to be often the most extreme on both sides. They supported the Nazis in the 1930s. Today, they're supporting neo-Nazi killers called Hamas. It's the same thing. And I'm on a campaign to expose the names of every student and every professor who signed a petition supporting and defending beheadings, rapes, and murders. I want every one of their names out there so that every employer knows who they're hiring. Can you imagine a law firm hiring a Ku Klux Klan member or somebody who supported the lynching or raping of people?
Oh, my God.
But that's what they're doing. And if I'm a client and I go to a law firm and they give me a lawyer who supports rape and murder of Jews, I quit that law firm. So I don't think any law firm should ever hire anybody who signed any of these petitions. And I am personally going to expose the names of any one of my students who I know supported any of these things, because I think the public has the right to know who they are.
All right. Beyond the students, I mean, constitutionally, what can we do about people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and the incendiary talk? And honestly, you know, what they accused Trump of on January 6th, they're doing themselves, inciting violence.
Well, what I would do is have people make the pledge I've made. I will support financially and in every other way anyone who runs against these racist bigots. Anyone. I don't care if they're Republicans, if they're Democrats. I will support anyone who runs against them. We have to run against them. We have to defeat them by democratic means, and I think it's doable. These are not people who are serving the interests of their constituents. Look at OAC. She prevented Amazon from coming to New York. She lost many, many jobs for her people, but because she's this radical, young,
Latina,
person, she has all these supporters.
Yep.
She has to be defeated, as do the other members of the squad. My neighborhood of Cambridge, where I lived for 50 years, is represented by a member of the squad. And, this is an academic community, and they vote for a squad member. Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. I knew time would run out on us. When you get somebody like Alan Dershowitz, you really want to dig in. Unfortunately, we got a hard break coming up, so I hate to do this to you. But in a minute, can you tell us about the head of the snake, Iran?
Iran is the one who's pulling all the strings. They're the puppet masters. And I think this is the right time for Israel, with the support of the United States, using its superior air power, its superior intelligence and rocket power, to go in and destroy Iran's nuclear capacity. Can you imagine if Iran were a nuclear power and gave just small little nuclear devices to Hamas or Hezbollah? That cannot be allowed. So Israel should be encouraged and helped by the United States to go in and do what it has to do to make sure that Iran never, ever develops a nuclear weapon. That's American policy. It's been American policy from the beginning. Iran will never get nuclear weapons, but we're not doing anything to assure that. Israel can do the job as long as they have the support of the United States.
All right. 2 books you need to get. One, Get Trump, that's already out there, and War Against the Jews, How to End Hamas Barbarism. Both of those available on Amazon and the normal places we get books.
Yeah, you can advance copy order the War Against Jews, and it'll come to your house the day it's published in a couple of weeks.
So might we think that you might vote Republican next November, or possibly even for Trump?
Well, I'll vote Republican if the candidate's on the other side of the squad, or Sanders, or people like that.
How about Trump?
We'll wait and see.
Would you vote for Trump?
We'll wait and see. We'll wait.
Okay.
Let's wait and see who's running.
Just like an attorney.
I don't mind until the last minute. Right?
Alan Dershowitz, a privilege and an honor to have you. Thank you so much, and please come back and talk to us again.
Thank you. Anytime. Thank you.
And enjoy some mozzarella today. We'll talk about that on Porcelli's Deli at 10:25. How to properly say mozzarella. On 101, you'll never get it. On News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Whoosh.
Tim Jones here to announce that Professional Irrigation Systems is now Pro Outdoor. The change reflects their commitment to the innovation of the industry, expansion of services they offer that our family has used for years. Lawn fertilization, landscape maintenance, outdoor lighting, of course, irrigation. Their commitment to their customers remains the highest priority. Same team, same awesome equipment, same quality of service you've come to know and love. To learn more about their services, including fall specials, call them 636-565-0196 or anytime 24/7 at ProOutdoor.com. That's ProOutdoor.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary, but that's not the case when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michael's, and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peter's. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Get ready for winter by making sure your family is warm and safe when the bone-chilling weather gets here. Mike Ferguson here for Anton's Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Energy Experts. Call them today to get your furnace tune-up. It's only $89, and it could save you hundreds or even thousands by preventing a breakdown. 314-338-3941 or antonshvac.com. Anton's installed our HVAC system, and we love it. Put their expertise and excellent customer service to work for you, just like they did for my house. antonshvac.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Maine's governor says 18 people were killed, 13 injured in the twin shootings in Lewiston, Maine. Authorities continue searching for 40-year-old Robert Card, a certified firearms instructor identified as a person of interest. Auburn Mayor Jason Levesque telling NBC's Today Show people in the region will pull together to get through this horrific ordeal.
I grew up here. It's a great community. It's gone through a lot. Obviously nothing like this, but I know for a fact that we're going to actually stay, and we're going to stay strong. And we're going to obviously find the individual who did this and bring them to justice quickly, very quickly. But also we're going to circle around our friends and family, and during their time of loss, we're going to help them get through this.
Card is described as armed and dangerous. People are urged not to approach him. Now that Mike Johnson has been elected Speaker of the House, lawmakers got down to business. They passed a resolution in support of Israel. Former President Trump congratulating the congressman, who also spoke with President Biden.
The White House says Mr. Biden called Speaker of the House Mike Johnson to congratulate him on his election and expressed that he looks forward to working together to find common ground on behalf of the American people. However, a separate statement from the Biden-Harris campaign had a much less conciliatory tone. It described Johnson as a Trump lackey, one of Congress's most extreme anti-abortion politicians, and one of the most forceful election deniers in the House. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A misdemeanor count for pulling a fire alarm as lawmakers scramble to pass a funding bill for a government shutdown. Democrat Congressman Jamal Bowman pleading guilty to a misdemeanor count for pulling a fire alarm. This as lawmakers scramble to pass a funding bill before a government shutdown deadline in September. The Dow up 30 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-320-7171. That's 800-320-7171. 800-320-7171.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All
our warm but unsettled weather patterns still locked in, so we're mostly cloudy again today. Scattered showers in the midday and afternoon, up to 78 with a breezy wind out of the south. Lots of dry time overnight tonight. Skies go partly cloudy, down to 65 for the low. Temperatures spike tomorrow, though. Friday's high at 82, but watch out. Here comes a sharp cold front. Could even see a few storms along that front in the afternoon. Much cooler this weekend. Highs in the upper 40s to low 50s with occasional rain. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, welcome home. And hey, welcome back to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That's the great Ken Williams over there. Man, it was great to talk to Alan Dershowitz, a guy that you see all the time on television for years and years, by the way. And I can confirm, yep, he's Jewish. Dershowitz is indeed a Jewish name. I had no idea. I thought it might have been Italian. Kidding. And it's funny that we got a lot of information out of him. I mean, we had him on for how long, Ken? 15 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much.
We got a lot of information out of him.
A lot, yeah. And he had fun.
I think he did too.
From the jump. When
you
started
from
he actually
mozzarella.
listened to what you were talking about Italian dialect, and he said he jumped right in there.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And, I liked telling him how much I didn't like him for years and years because he was just a straight up lib. Little did I know he was just following the Constitution. That's what he does. And, go get his books, Get Trump's out there now. And again, Get Trump is the campaign slogan for people right now. All they're going to do is get Trump, right? Letitia James and Fat Alvin Bragg, right? Okay.
This is Louis Valdes.
Louis?
Louis.
Not Luis?
Nope.
Okay. Louis Valdes, who is the national spokesperson for Gun Owners of America. Hi there. How you doing? Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on the air, and thank you for being a shining beacon of liberty in these dark and troubling times with your show.
Wow. I didn't realize we were that. So you just said that. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to capture that. Though.
Yeah, we're gonna play that about 100 times in the next week or so, if you don't mind, Louis. All right, so let's get serious here, okay? And we got to start with what happened overnight. This screwball kills 22 people. And right away, Louis, and you knew this was going to happen last night when you saw this news break that the left was going to say, it's the guns. We need gun control. Can you explain why their argument is not valid?
Well, their argument isn't valid for multiple reasons, but mostly because it's already been proven that gun control doesn't work. You could look across the country that has restrictive gun policies in place, and guess what? Criminals are still criminals. And criminals are criminals because here's a shocking thing that I learned in my time as a police officer. They break the law.
That's the first thing they teach you, right, at the academy. Hey, by the way, officers, criminals break the law. And this guy was just released from a mental hospital, right? Apparently, he was on some sort of FBI watch list. Another, by the way, failure on the FBI's part to not follow this guy and do something before he did this.
Well, the honest truth with all of this, and it's a tragedy of what happened in Lewiston, Maine, but the honest truth is America doesn't have a gun problem. America doesn't even have a crime problem to a degree. What America has is a mental health crisis. We have a mental health crisis because there's a social stigma on mental health treatment.
Yep.
If you go to your cardiologist because you have heart pains, there's not a social stigma. If you go to your primary care physician because you got the sniffles and you think you're coming down with a flu, no one looks at you wrong. If you go to the dentist because your tooth hurts, it's not like, oh my God, something's wrong with this guy. No. But if you go to your doctor because you have a mental health issue, you're socially ostracized, you're driven underground, people make fun of you, you're viewed differently, and that's the honest truth. There is a mental health crisis, and we as Americans, we need to have a good, long, hard talk with ourselves, and we have to come to the conclusion that, you know what, we need to simply stop medicating these people, dumping them on the fringes of society, and letting them self-medicate through alcohol and illicit drug use, and we need to have a good, long conversation with our lawmakers and say, we need to have public funding for mental health, because as I've seen it and as you know it, we have individuals who could lead productive lives as law-abiding citizens, as family members, as business owners, as hard workers, and they might have a mental health issue. Why? Because of a traumatic event. It could be PTSD from returning from overseas. It could be because they were in a car accident. It could be because they saw their kid get hurt. But you know what? A lot of mental health issues are temporary. They're not permanent, but people are ostracized for it. But the other side of that coin is people that do have permanent mental health issues that they should be committed, they're not, because there's a lack of funding. And the idea that gun control is going to solve this doesn't, because guess what? Maine has a red flag law, and red flag laws in no way stop this, because, you know, the thing they always keep quoting about red flag laws and pushing is that, oh, well, if the guy has red flags in his past, we're going to take the guns away from him. Did it stop this? No. You know what would stop this? We have a law here in Florida. We call it the Baker Act law. If you have the means, the motive, and the opportunity to commit violence to someone else, you have the means, the motive, and the opportunity to hurt yourself, and you refuse to seek voluntary treatment, law enforcement could involuntarily commit you to the nearest mental health facility for 72 hours, where you can be evaluated. And if it turns out that you are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you're then adjudicated as such. And then you are given the treatment you need. Simply taking guns away from people doesn't take crazy people off the streets.
Right. And it doesn't keep criminals from getting guns. I mean, that's what they just don't understand. And I think maybe we should just update the story, and then we'll get back to what we originally asked you to be on for us, is that this guy's still on the loose. So just scary. All right. So something that obviously we're very interested in here in Missouri, the Supreme Court blocking the Missouri gun law. Talk about that a little bit for us.
Yeah, the state of Missouri passed what we call a Second Amendment Protection Act, which clearly states that the state of Missouri will not allow state or its political subdivisions to assist, fund, or support federal gun control in any way, shape, or form. Something that would be allowed under the 10th Amendment, and something that has been upheld in the past by the Supreme Court under the 10th Amendment in Prince v. U.S. back in the 90s when the Brady Bill came out. The federal government ordered that local law enforcement and sheriff's offices conduct background checks, and you had a sheriff say, no, I ain't doing this. This isn't something you could force me to do. And the Supreme Court upheld it. But here's the thing. The Supreme Court has now refused to hear the case for Missouri, Second Amendment Protection Act. And that's striking, especially since this is what it boils down to. It's a 10th Amendment issue to protect the Second Amendment issue of Missouri residents, no more, no less.
And this state, obviously a red state, plenty of people carry, and for years it's been just fine. And now, this sounds so elementary, Lewis, but it's against what we've done our whole lives. And now it's hard to get used to being, ostracized, or not ostracized, but breaking the law if you're carrying a gun.
Yeah, it's just sad, and it's another assault on Americans' individual liberties by a bureaucratic, despotic regime that's infesting Washington, D.C. Remember, Washington, D.C., it doesn't view the rest of America, and especially a state like Missouri, as part of it. It views it as flyover country, as a place of, it's one of those places. They don't think that we're Americans. And that's an insult to Americans. And last I checked, it doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, gay, straight, male, female. I don't care where you live. Last I checked, we're all Americans. We're all born with the right to keep and bear arms. And the Supreme Court has finally upheld and stated that, hey, guess what? Those rights actually exist outside of the home. But now you have a state trying to defend those rights from government encroachment, and the Supreme Court said, nah, we don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So oddly enough, not oddly enough, but I guess it makes sense if you think it through, and I'm sure you'll help us do that right now. But these Hamas attacks in the wake of all the violence certainly confirm the need for a Second Amendment, especially right now. I hate to say it, but if you're Jewish.
The Hamas attacks show the honest truth, and this goes back to my experience as a law enforcement officer. When seconds count, cops are minutes to an hour away. And sadly, in the case of Israel, they were many hours away because Hamas had hours and hours to complete their attacks on the Israeli citizenry. And here's the thing. Bad guys do bad things in good places. I constantly hear from lawmakers, oh, well, if you stay out of the bad parts of town, bad things won't happen to you. I'm sorry. Bad people go to good parts of town to commit violence. And there's a reason why gun control is an abject failure, because Israel has pushed gun control forever. You're limited to one firearm after you serve X number of years as a cop or in the military. You have to jump through a number of hoops. You were limited to 50 rounds of ammunition a year, not even a week, a month, a day, a year. And I'm sorry, I go through more than 50 rounds of ammunition when I go to the range just to practice. And that's within a one-day trip to the range. But you're limiting a person to a year? And what happened? You had hundreds of Hamas fighters cross the border and attack people in their own homes. Guess what? There's a reason why we own AR-15s. There's a reason why we own multiple 30-round magazines. And there's a reason why they're loaded and at the ready, because bad people can and will do things when you least expect it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the border crossings that are happening right now, and it's amazing to me that we don't even know where 450,000 other categorized as other people are right now, and they could be anywhere. They could be in our neighborhoods and not even know it. And if we don't have the guns, we're not protected at all.
Very much so. Our entire system of government should be based on the simple fact that we as Americans have the right to keep and bear arms and protect ourselves. And we are our own first responders. Police, they are a reactionary force. When I was a cop, we showed up after the fact to gather the information, to try to track down the perpetrator and bring them to justice. But if you want to prevent violence from occurring against you or your loved ones, you have to carry and you have to protect yourself and you have to protect your loved ones. And we have seen multiple examples of that in our country. One of the most tragic incidents that I could bring up happened twice in Texas. You had the Lubby's cafeteria massacre, where you had a woman who at the time was following Texas law, because at the time you couldn't carry on your person. You could only carry it in your vehicle. So she left her handgun in her car, went into the restaurant, sat down with her parents. A gunman came in, shot up the place and killed her parents. And she said, if I broke the law that day and was carrying, I could have protected my parents. And then we've had the incident in Sutherland Springs, Texas, where you had another nut job go shoot up a church, but you had a strong, patriotic American, Mr. Stephen Williford, who is part of GOA, by the way. He grabbed his AR, he confronted that scumbag, and he put him 6 feet under and saved lives.
Wow.
That's the difference between then and now. And that is the proof that an armed society could protect itself.
So Ken and I, we're talking, by the way, to Luis Valdes, who is the national spokesperson for Gun Owners of America. He's a former police officer and detective. Ken and I got to go tour a local 911 emergency communications center recently. And one of the officers, we were talking about, just being a police officer, which is not, it's one of the hardest jobs we have in America. And I said, if I'm driving and I get pulled over, do you want me to say, by the way, I have a firearm in the car, or should I not say that? He said to us, if a driver says I have a firearm in the car, I know I'm safe. Like he'd rather hear that you had a firearm in the car than if you had one and didn't tell him.
Very much so. In my experience as a cop, when the public would inform me, hey, I'm a licensed concealed carry holder, I'm carrying a firearm, that actually reduces my my fears and my nervousness, because I go, oh, okay, this is a law-abiding guy. He's telling me right off the bat. And here, you brought up a great thing, because you guys in Missouri, you have open carry. We don't have that in Florida. And here in Florida, there's a number of politicians that claim, oh, well, open carry is more dangerous for law enforcement because then cops see people armed. I'm sorry, as a police officer, our entire worry was we don't know who's carrying or not. If we had open carry, that would be like, oh, that guy's armed, that lady's armed. Oh, okay, cool. They can go about their day. I know it.
Hey, Lewis, the person who trained me for my CCW, he said that it's actually in an open carry state. It's better to you need your CCW now more than ever, because if you go into a place that doesn't allow, like a building that doesn't allow concealed carry, and you don't have a CCW, you could be arrested. If you have one, they ask you to leave. If you're pulled over, a police officer, if you hand him your CCW permit and your driver's license, he's very comfortable at that point because he knows what you went through to get it.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just we don't even have the option to open carry in Florida.
Wow.
But we're one of the only. There's only 5 states in the country that ban open carry: Florida, New York, Illinois, California, and Connecticut.
Wow.
4 of them are Democrat controlled, and Florida's a Republican state. That's a scary notion.
You do have a stand your ground law, though, right?
That we do.
Yeah,
that we do. But going back to Missouri, the fact that you guys have both, and last I checked, you guys are also a constitutional carry state. So the fact that you guys have all of that, and that your state was trying to defend your right from the encroachment in Washington, D.C., is despicable that the Supreme Court has refused to uphold and allow Missouri to do that. Because again, this goes, going back to the topic at hand, this goes back to the 10th Amendment, where any power derived to the state belongs to the state. And the state has the right to do that. And the state has been given that power constitutionally. And we could even bring up sanctuary cities. You guys brought over the border crisis going down south in the U.S. You have numerous states and numerous cities that refuse to assist federal law enforcement in enforcing immigration laws, but you don't see that being an issue with the federal government.
Yeah.
You have numerous states that have legalized marijuana on the state level, yet on the federal level, it's still illegal. You don't see the federal government raising an issue with that, but you see the federal government raising an issue with the state of Missouri trying to defend its citizens' Second Amendment rights. That tells you what Washington, D.C. thinks of our inalienable rights.
Yep. And, I people need to learn about firearms. They need to learn how important it is to have a firearm, because everything we're talking about here, concealed carry and all that, a firearm in the house, right? In a secret little place. And we have a secret little place where we have ours. And if somebody comes in and threatens me or my family, I'm going to shoot. In Missouri, am I okay?
I think you guys have a good self-defense law yourselves.
Okay, that works for me. All right, Lewis, tell us how we find out more about the Gun Owners of America.
It's real simple, folks. Just go to gunowners.org. We are a national organization. We're the only no-compromise organization. We fight on the local, state, and national level. And joining us, it's real simple. It's just $25 a year, and every penny goes towards the fight. And I can tell you this. I spend more money going through a Burger King drive-thru to pick up dinner for myself, my wife, and my kid than I do for GOA membership. So that $25 yearly fee, that is incredibly valuable because you get up-to-the-date information on what is going on where you live and on the federal level. And more importantly, we give you up-to-the-date information on how you and your listeners could get involved and fight the good fight. Because our national motto is very simple. E pluribus unum, out of many one. And together, as Americans, we could stop the draconian, despotic regime in Washington, D.C. from violating and taking our rights away.
Amen. Gunowners.org, on Twitter @gunowners. Luis Valdes, spokesman for Gun Owners of America. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank you. And Luis is the same.
Okay, good. I mean, I looked, I said Luis, right? Luis Valdes. That's how I said. All right. Thank you so much. I was close,
guys.
You bet. Our pleasure. All right. Boy.
Very timely. Very timely.
Is today a whirlwind day or what?
It is, yeah. But everything's very timely.
10:41. We got to talk about, we got a new Speaker of the House.
Yes,
Ken.
we do.
Yeah. And coming up next, we're going to teach you how to speak like a New Jersey Italian in Porcelli's Deli. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Being the guy who's pushing them out.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Newstalk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on Newstalk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
School choice is an idea whose time has come. It's flourishing in many states, just not in Missouri. Take charter schools, a great alternative for parents whose kids may be trapped in a failing school district. But charter schools are currently only available to families in just 3 of 520 school districts: Kansas City, the city of St. Louis, and Normandy. Open enrollment allows students to enroll in a district other than the one in which they live. It's important because rural schools may not offer all the advanced classes larger districts do. Open enrollment does exist in Missouri, but participation is highly restricted. And the Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA program, needs to be expanded so many more parents of students with disabilities and low-income students can access it. Charter schools, open enrollment, ESAs. If they're good for some children, they should be good for all children. Check out our 2023 blueprint, Moving Missouri Forward, at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Now, the Onder Prescription with Dr. Bob Onder.
I'm Dr. Bob Onder. The Jefferson City swamp was on full display the last couple of weeks with revelations about the ethical scandals of House Speaker Dean Plocher. It is alleged that he threatened to fire Chief Clerk Dana Miller if she didn't go along with a sweetheart deal for $800,000 for a new information system that he planned to use to harvest state data for his campaign for lieutenant governor. This week, we learned that over 4 years, he submitted false reimbursements for travel expenses, including a trip to Hawaii. He did this at least 9 times and only reimbursed the state after he had been caught. We expect honesty, integrity, and transparency from our elected officials. If half of what has been alleged is true, Plocher should resign for the good of his district and the good of the state. I'm Dr. Bob, and that's my prescription.
Find more Dr. Bob Onder at bobondermo.com.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
The Israeli Prime Minister promises the attack on Gaza will extract the highest price from Hamas.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. Welcome to Porcelli's Deli.
Yes, very good. I'll have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please.
Gabagool. Over here.
ketchup. Where's the ketchup at? I bet the Chinese food here is terrible.
With Vic Porcelli.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
Porcelli's Deli is moved to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Come on in. We're open. Have a seat. Vic will tell you a story.
Hi there. Welcome to Porcelli's Deli. Come on in. Have a seat in the Italian section. I had a laugh. That's just what we're going to talk about. You heard in our little intro there, Silvio Dante from The Sopranos goes, "Gabagool over here." And all right, well, let's start with that one. I wasn't going to start with that one, but we will. Everybody loves to say gabagool, right?
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, but it's not right.
Oh,
the true Italian pronunciation is capicola. Okay.
Wow.
So today I'm going to teach you how to speak like a New Jersey Italian. Okay. And especially the Neapolitan dialect. Okay. My family's from Naples, and just being from Naples, right? The true pronunciation would be Napolitano, right? But we say we're Napolitan. Okay.
Right.
And how does that happen? The Naples dialect is a very lazy dialect, okay? So the first thing you have to remember, this is the first rule of speaking New Jersey Italian, napoletano, okay? The first thing you do is cut off the last vowel of every word you say, every single word you say,
All
okay?
right.
Then you replace certain letters with other letters. So Napoletano, you pronounce the P like a B for some reason.
Okay.
So you say Napoletano, okay? The T's you make it sound like D's, okay? So the real word has a P and a T in it.
Yeah.
Napoletano, you change that to Napoletano, okay? Knock off the last syllable, replace the P with a B and the T with a D, and you got it. Say it. Say Napoletano.
Napoletano.
Look at you talking like an Italian.
Aw.
Fantastic. All right. Gabagool. So the real pronunciation, as I mentioned, capicola. So you always replace.
What is that now? What
It's meat. It's deli meat.
Okay.
Comes in slices. Looks a little bit like ham, but not. You know.
I thought it was like a drink.
No.
Cup of
it's
cola.
meat. No, it's not cola.
No.
No.
Okay.
You just reminded me of another one we got to do though. So you replace the C with a G. So that's the first part. Then there's another C, so you got to replace that C with a G. Knock off the last syllable, so capicola becomes gabagool.
Gabagool.
You got it?
Got it.
Okay. My favorite, mozzarella.
Now I like this. I practiced this.
Practice what? Saying it my way or the right
Saying
way?
it your way.
All right, we'll give you the first shot.
You want me to say it now?
It's up to you.
Mozzarella.
Yes! Oh my God, you
Okay.
got it.
Because the only reason
Don't
why
even try to make it sound like an R. You're still trying to make the R sound, okay? Don't worry about the R's in the middle. Mozzarella. With a D.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Say it.
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. The R's a lazy dialect, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to roll your R. Mozzarella. You know, Italian is a very romantic language.
Yes.
You know, you can make almost anything you say in Italian sound really sexy. You know?
Yeah.
Like if I said, Santino se dice quando porta tornare. That sounds really sexy, doesn't it? Well, it means, did Santino say when I can return? That's from The Godfather when he's talking to Don Tomasino. But you go, if you're a guy and you'll go up to you and say, hey, Santino se porta tornare. Oh my God, he's being Italian. No, I just watched The Godfather. Okay. So there is a dance you may. Well, are we good on gabagool?
No, yeah, we're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
All right, let me just cross off gabagool off my list. So you may have heard of a dance called the tarantella. Happens at Italian weddings. Tarantella.
Tarantella.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of how it would be.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
That's when in The Godfather 2,
Come on.
when Frankie Five Angels goes up on the scene. I can't believe out of 30 musicians, there's not an Italian in the bunch here. Give me a tarantella. So tarantella, take off the last thing, replace the T's with D's. It's tarantella.
Okay.
Not tarantella, tarantella. Okay. You keeping up with me here?
Yes.
Okay. Prosciutto. You've
Ooh.
heard of prosciutto.
Oh, sure.
So again, following all the rules, knock off the last syllable, replace the P with a B. We say prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
We'll say provolone. We don't say provolone, which is how you should say it.
Well, let's get back to
Okay, again. Prosciutto. Prosciutto. Say it.
Prosciutto.
You're
Prosciutto.
Italian.
Okay.
You are Italian. All right. So we got prosciutto. Mozzarella, we did. So ricotta cheese. You've seen ricotta
yeah.
cheese?
Yeah, I love
Okay. So the Italian New Jersey way to say that is ricotta.
Ricotta.
Ricotta. Take off the last syllable. You replace the C with a G. Ricotta.
You know, that really explains a lot when you break that
It's a
down
formula.
that way. Well,
Yeah.
it is a formula because I hear you say things sometimes here, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell is that? I've never heard of that kind of thing before. And then I've heard of ricotta cheese.
Right. And now how are you going to say
Ricotta.
it? Ricotta. Good boy.
Ricotta.
So with ricotta, you can make manicotti, right?
Manicotti.
There you go. You got it. So you knock off the last syllable, change the C to a G, manicotti.
Manicotti.
Shut up and eat your manicotti. Vegetable escarole. You've heard of escarole?
No.
It's a leafy thing, you know. Looks a little bit like cabbage, but has a little bit of a different taste. The Americans say escarole, we say scarole. Because anytime you put a C, an S, and a C together, we just, the other day you were talking about biscotti.
Yeah.
We say biscott.
Okay.
Anytime you have the
Biscotti.
S and the C together, we make it like Joe Pesci, right? Biscotti, Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Got it?
Yeah.
You're getting it, man. You are getting it. Okay, so quick story.
Okay.
Quick stories. And we'll get back to the list. When my wife and I were first not even married, we were just living in sin, I guess. We were living together. And she wanted to cook an Italian meal for me. You know, I got the Italian boyfriend here. I want to cook Italian for him. So me, being a guy that wants to try to impress my new girlfriend that I'm living with, let me help, right? So I come in the kitchen. Sorry. And I said, how can I help? Can I get you anything? Can I do anything? She goes, oh, yeah, do me a favor. Go down the cabinet there and get a colander. I was like, oh, my God. First thing I asked if I can help, I don't even know what she's talking about. Never heard the word colander, Ken, in my life. So I said, and the go-to, of course, is, I don't think we have one. So she looks and she goes, there's a colander right there. I said, that's not a colander, that's a scolabast. Italians in New Jersey call it a scolabast, which translates into cool the pasta. Scola pasta.
Ah, okay.
So scolabast. But you change the P to a B. We've already learned that.
Exactly right.
This is great. You guys are going to be talking like Jersey guineas any day now. So that's the food list that I put together very quickly. There are some other words that I would like to help you say. And one in particular may be my favorite Italian word said like a New Jersey person, okay? First of all, wait, all right? The real way to say that is aspettire.
Aspettire.
That's the right way to say it. Follow the formula, drop the last syllable, and we say aspet. My grandmother said that all the time. Grandma, come on, aspet, aspet.
Aspet.
First thing you learn when you're an
Aspet.
Italian kid is to wait, aspet.
For some reason, I think I need to learn that one more than any other.
Why is that?
Well, just when we have our conversation. Just
You and me?
Yeah. Aspet.
Aspet. I love that. Oh my God, I love that. That was great. If something is broken, this happened just the other night. Jesse and I were shopping at the supermarket, and we got some hamburger rolls, I guess. And the only package they had of that brand that she likes, one of the rolls was broken. And I said, look, this one's all scasciato. That's the real word is scasciati. All right. If something's broken or smashed or broken like that, it's scasciati. But we say scasciato. If you go to Di Gregorio's Italian Market on the Hill, they have olive scasciati. It's olive salad, and all the olives are smashed and broken, so it's scasciati. But
okay.
I would go in and say olive scasciato. Okay. And if you, I don't know, I can't even give you the real Italian word on this one, but if you're like mopey, you know, kid's got the mopey face.
Yeah.
He's all mushad. What are you all mushad about?
Mushad.
That's crazy. I can't even. I can't even. And then my favorite Italian word spoken like an Italian is the word gavone. Okay.
Gavone, yeah, I've heard that a lot.
From me?
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody's eating like a slob, right, stuff coming down their face and everything, and they're shoving food in their mouth, you say, don't eat like a gavone.
Right.
Now, the real word, the real way to say that, Ken, is cavone. C-A-V-O-N-E. Cavone. Follow the formula. Drop the last syllable. Change the C to a G. Cavone becomes gavone.
Gavone.
And for some reason, that word, I remember my daughter Marielle used it one day. She was like, yeah, and he's eating like a gavone. I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. Because
you're my daughter.
When my kids use the Italian words, Ken, I love it. I absolutely.
You're your father's daughter.
Exactly right. So don't eat like a gavone, okay? So are we clear?
Yeah.
On the how to stalk Napolitan?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So if you call the show and you mention any of these words, you're going to have to say it the New Jersey Gavone way, because we're a bunch of Gavones. And that's all the time we have for Porcelli's Deli. And we'll finish it up with, of course, this is all real Italian, all right? No New Jersey Napolitan in this. Ready? Una mattina mi sono alzato. Oh, bella ciao, 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 ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invaso. All right, coming up next, we've got a new Speaker of the House. I love the guy. We'll talk about that, the breaking news that happened yesterday, and when it happened. Okay? Where are we? Que mi sento di morir. On 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. Welcome home, you bunch of gavones.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Say it with me. See, say Broadway.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
Talk radio made in St. Louis for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL.
Our responsibility.
News, analysis, and opinion.
To provide updated guidance.
At 1019, 941, and NewstalkSTL.com.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer.
Hey everyone, this is Nick Schroer from Stand and Fight every Sunday 8 to 10 p.m. If you need tree removal, storm damage, repairs to trees, tree trimming, pruning, if your bushes are out of control, call River City Tree Service. Free quotes right now, 314-270-8071, 314-270-8071. Professional tree services performed by ISA certified arborists. Request your free quote at rivercitytreeservice.com.
Columbo and Katie.
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Wow. So there you go.
Wow.
This is truly a moment in American history. Kevin McCarthy has been removed as Speaker of the House.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey guys, Ken Kruger. I've gotten to know these guys really well over the last few years. Yes, St. Louis Bath and Renovation. They're the most trusted name in bathroom remodelers in the St. Louis area. In fact, if you need bathroom repairs, complete bathroom remodeling, or handyman services, call St. Louis Bath and Renovation at 314-477-6476 or email Rob at stlbr.com. That's St. Louis Bath and Renovation.
Fox News commentary.
We finally have a Speaker of the House, but now what? Time to get to work. That's what. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This week, you may have never heard of Congressman Mike Johnson, but you're about to hear a lot from him now that he's our Speaker of the House. He seems like a pretty solid guy to me, but finally having a speaker, even a good one, isn't going to be enough for Republicans to hang their hats on. In fact, after weeks of chaos and infighting, every single one of them is on probation in my eyes. Not only do elected Republicans have to prove to registered Republicans that they can actually represent us, they better get to work on a unified agenda to present to the American people. And they've got less than a year to show us some real work. The American voter needs to see a fully functional and united GOP that can make their lives better and provide an alternative to the dumpster fire of Joe and Democrats. If they don't, not only will Republicans likely lose Congress in 2024, they probably deserve to. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Yo, Vic, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I call them the 7 core principles of American conservatism, but let me concede to you all, I think it's really quintessentially the core principles of our nation. I boil them down to individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. Those are the foundations that made us the extraordinary nation that we are. And you and I today are the stewards of those principles. The things that have made us the freest, most powerful, most successful nation in the history of the world. The things that have made us truly exceptional.
That is new Speaker of the House, Representative Mike Johnson from Louisiana. And they voted yesterday, and he became Speaker of the House at just the time we left yesterday.
When news breaks, you can be assured that Vic Porcelli has just signed off the air. So when you need breaking news, you can count on NewstalkSTL. But after Vic signs off the air. NewstalkSTL, your home for breaking news after 11 a.m. Sorry, Vic.
Okay, we get it. I'm going to ask you some trivia. I'm going to ask you some Vic Porcelli Show trivia there, boss man. When did that start? That thing that we played there about breaking news happens after 11 o'clock. Do you remember when that started? Because I do.
Well, I remember why it started, because we were getting so frustrated because these things were happening just after the show.
What was the one thing
I don't remember.
Oh, Ken Williams, you are grounded. It was the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Because I followed that trial. I am not exaggerating when I tell you I watched every single minute of that trial.
Yeah.
I didn't miss 1 second of that trial. So much so that Tony Colombo had me on his show as an expert, in quotes,
I remember that,
on the trial.
Yeah.
And then it was a Friday. It was still going on. We're waiting for the verdict. And we leave here at 11 o'clock. On a Friday, keep in mind, at 11:01, the verdict comes out for Kyle Rittenhouse, and I wasn't on the air to talk about it.
And the amazing Jim Modglin, he got caught up into it, and he created that for you.
It's not, and it's not the first time he's done that.
No,
it's not
no,
the last time he'll
no.
do that. That guy is just amazing. Jim Modglin is his name. So I am very happy with Mike Johnson being the Speaker of the House.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about you?
I'm really happy. I do want to say this because this is really bringing to light something about the left that everybody needs to understand. You know, when they attack Donald Trump, they attack him as a racist, a misogynist, isms, all that stuff under the sun, right? Well, they're going to do that. Understand this. No matter who you vote for, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be that way for anyone you vote for in the future. Notice that every single candidate for Speaker of the House was a racist, was a misogynist, was every single thing.
Right.
Every time their name came up, they became that.
You're right.
This man right here, who is probably the least invasive of anybody, but he's very conservative, Mike Johnson.
Yep.
He became the racist.
Yep.
He became that anti-abortionist. You know, all the stuff that the left is against.
And he is, I don't want to say behind the scenes, because Ken, I got to tell you, he has been on, I think he's on the Judicial Committee, and the way he asks questions are just so great. Not to mention, he's got a great voice.
Yeah,
great voice.
He really does.
But people don't know who he is. Hey, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. Who? Who's Mike Johnson? So the Babylon Bee has their most recent headline says, Mike Johnson's family and friends stunned to learn he is a congressman. What? Dad,
That's great.
You're a congressman?
Huh. You know, it's something that reminded me of something also. The left tried to put out about him when he was a candidate for this post. They said he has bills. He owes money and he's not telling people. You know what his bills were?
What?
A mortgage,
car
payments.
You
know
mean like
why?
a regular guy?
Yeah, because he doesn't take money from lobbyists, so he has through his paycheck, Vic, through his paycheck. And you know what I like about him the most? He's unapologetically conservative.
Yes, sir.
If you ask him a question, he doesn't go, well, you know, let's see. Let me put my finger in the air here for a second. Okay, I believe, you know.
Who else does that?
Oh, who does that? Actually does that?
Who else does that?
Donald Trump.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
So now he's Speaker of the House. Okay. So now, first of all, let's go. Let's get to work. Let's do it, Ken.
Yes.
Let's stop the spending. Let's censure, at the least, I would like to say, at the very least, censure Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. And let's just go any further, and AOC and Ayanna Pressley and Jamal Bowman for
How
that
about Cori
matter.
Bush?
And Cori Bush. God, I swear to God. I am so disgusted that when I see her on television and I see her making comments, I'm embarrassed to say that I'm from the same state as her. She doesn't represent me.
No.
But she does represent two people at the station, Mike Ferguson and Gabe.
Yeah.
Both live in her district.
What disgusts me about Cori Bush is not so much the content. It's she has no thought of what she's saying. She says things that are so dumb. I don't know how else to explain it. When she talks, it's not even about the topic. She's just so stupid. And then she says it, and I'm like, oh, okay, she's from St. Louis. I'm embarrassed.
I am embarrassed to be from the same state as her, but at least I'll say it again, she doesn't represent me, so I'm happy about that.
Right.
So congratulations to Mike Johnson. And you know what else Mike Johnson will never do?
What's that?
He will never rip up a copy of the State of the Union speech like Nancy Pelosi did when Donald Trump gave his State of the Union.
You know, I saw an interview of Mike Johnson after he was elected, or I guess put in the position of speaker, and he was asked, he said, is that a bad thing that she did, this ripping up?
I'm sorry, who'd you ask this to?
I saw this interview.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Of
Okay.
him.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I can't remember who. I think it might have even been on a Fox clip.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, well, not only is it bad, something like that, but that's illegal.
Oh.
What she did was actually illegal because those documents go into an archive, and there are only a certain number of those. Those are actually original documents. They're not copied. Wow. And when she ripped those up, she was destroying history, basically.
Yeah. Well, I just hope it gets to work. Let's stop the spending, okay? Let's get rid of the terrible people in Congress, and let's move forward. I support that. I would have been good with Byron Donalds too, I'd like to say, but what?
Yeah, we've got more audio if you want.
Of Byron Donalds or
No.
of Mike Johnson? Well, I don't want to use too much time here. Yeah, okay, let's do it. More Mike Johnson.
We have a catastrophe at our southern border. The Senate and the White House can no longer ignore the problem. From Texas to New York, wave after wave of illegal migrants are stressing our communities to their breaking points. We know that our streets are being flooded with fentanyl, and all of our communities, children, and even adults are dying from it. The status quo is unacceptable. Inaction is unacceptable, and we must come together and address the broken border. We have to do it.
By the way, the left didn't stand up and clap for him with anything that he said.
No. Sorry.
What'd you say?
No, they did not.
No, they did not. But I also would like to see him get on the Biden crime family investigation.
Yes.
Because more and more stuff is coming out just in the last 24 hours about more facts coming out. That $200,000 check from one brother to the other brother being Joe Biden. The $2.75 million in cash that he paid for a Delaware beach house.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crime going on in the Biden White House. And it cracks me up. They go after Donald Trump for, you heard Alan Dershowitz say, unconstitutional charges. I didn't put those words into Alan Dershowitz's mouth. I don't need to be putting words into a Harvard law professor emeritus's mouth, right?
Yeah, right. And that's just another thing about the left. They don't care if it's right or wrong, just as long as it's against Donald Trump.
Yes, exactly right. Just because they hate Trump, they ruin the country, right?
Yeah.
Pipeline, first thing, done.
Yeah.
Drilling in Anwar, done. Let's get rid of farmers.
We don't care about those thousands of families. We just hate Trump.
We just hate Trump. And we like Trump, so they obviously hate us as well.
Right.
Are we done with this?
If you want to be, yes.
I do.
Okay.
But
I can tell.
Congratulations to Mike Johnson. I'm really happy that he's the new Speaker of the House. I really, really respect that guy a lot. Okay, can we talk about today's date, Ken?
Yes, we can, Vic.
Today's date is October 26th. It is, right? Today's 26th?
Yes.
Oh my God, can you imagine if I screwed that up? Yeah, no. October 26th. That is maybe the most significant date in the history of the Back to the Future movies. So in Back to the Future, the first movie, Marty goes from 1985 to, I love that part. He goes from 1985 back to 1955, gets everything all fixed up with his parents and everything, goes back to 1985. Then in Back to the Future 2, they go to the future, right? And the date in the future that is the most in the future, if that makes sense, in the Back to the Future films is October 26th, 1985. So, no, that's not right. October 26th, 2015, because they go 30 years into the future. Right. So October 26th, 2015 is the very last moment in the future for Back to the Future. So I bring that up because after October 26th, 2015, everything that happened in Back to the Future was in the past.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because in 1985, when they went to the future, it's like, oh my God, 2015, Cubs win the World Series. What?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they missed that only by 1 year. Do you know that?
Wow.
They said it happened in 2015, and it actually did happen in 2016.
Yeah.
And I was so mad at Major League Baseball because they should have kept the Florida Marlins in the American League, so that could have actually happened.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And they even changed their name to Miami now. They're not the Florida Marlins anymore, right? They're the Miami Marlins, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
When it said Cubs beat Miami, and Marty goes, Miami? Because there wasn't a team from Miami in 1985.
Right.
You know what I mean? So anyway, on October 26th, 2015 was the last time that everything in Back to the Future was in the past. It's not like I'm obsessed with that movie.
No, not at all. Not at all.
God, I love it. Time travel, man. I am just... I want time travel to be true. I'm like a stupid 3-year-old waiting for the tooth fairy to come when it comes to this, because I want there to be time travel. I want to travel through time.
Sure.
All right. That music means shut up, you Galvon. And
Galvon.
read the chat box. I'm gonna need your help, Ken, because I didn't open up the Rumble box until just now, and I'm sure that means I'm not going to get all the comments. I don't know why that happens on Rumble. I'm going to check, make sure. October 26th. Oh, no. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Good. So we will check all the chat boxes, all 2 of them. Let's start with Facebook. What?
There are 3, but we're still real on the low on the totem pole on Rumble or on YouTube. But I think they're throttling us on YouTube right now. I really do.
Why would they do that, Ken? All right. Tom was first in this morning. Good Thursday morning. Happy Double Doit Thursday, ladies, gents, and gentle cats. It's on this day in 1985. I was in kindergarten. Thanks, Joy, for making me feel old. Appreciate that. I was sitting in a movie theater watching Back to the Future, and you were in kindergarten. Fantastic. Amy says, good morning, Vic Heads. Linda says, good morning, Vic, Ken, and everyone. Whoosh to my all-American Ultra MAGA Vic Head family. 452 days until the end of the era. Pretty soon, Ken, that's going to be less than a year. It's going to be less than 365 days till the end of the era. Happy Deli Day. Barry says, hey, yo, Vic, my wife's maiden name is Caracino. How would a New Jersey Italian pronounce that? We'd pronounce it Caracino because you don't mess with people's names. You know,
out of respect, I guess, huh?
Yeah, out of respect, you say their names the right way. But food and stuff and being a Galvon, sure, change it around to be a Napoleon. Be a Napoleon. Today should be a Napoleon.
Napoleon.
I grew up in Indiana, but married a guy from New Jersey, and I've been living here ever since. I love your show, and you teaching Italian to Ken. Oh my God, I'm the Medigan in the family. And she wrote it Medigan. So you know what that means? American.
American.
Yeah.
Medigan.
But we call it Medigan.
Well, yeah, it
Again,
makes sense.
Change the C to a G, knock off the last syllable.
Right.
Medigan. It works every
Medigan.
time. That formula works every single time. Oh, Ken, look what I've done. I've run us out of time here. Alan Reed, Mark Levin's newest. All right. Sorry, everybody. I messed it up.
That's it.
All right. What is today? Thursday. Okay, another day tomorrow. So listen, thanks for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Dan Bongino, who steals our stuff every day from 11 till 2 o'clock, right? He did it again yesterday.
Yep.
And Kenny and I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, you bunch of Galvons.
Whoosh. When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on NewstalkSTL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show. Don't let going to the office become a grind unless it's a gourmet grind from discountcoffee.com. Enjoy coffee house blends that can't be found in stores. And don't be fooled by coffee services that lock you into paying more over time. Discountcoffee.com has the very same coffee brands and supplies for less shipped directly to your door. Plus, save 15% off your order with the promo code RightMind. That's discountcoffee.com.
Hey, Columbo here, reminding you that cybersecurity has never been more important, so you need to ask yourself, is your business prepared for a possible ransomware attack? And if you have any doubt, you need to call the team at ThrottleNet today. ThrottleNet provides world-class managed IT services and IT support to many local organizations, including my family's own small business. They're St. Louis's highest rated and most reviewed outsourced IT company, and there's many different ways ThrottleNet can help with your business's operation and digital protection. Learn more now at throttlenet.com.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Maine Governor Janet Mills says it's a day of grief and pain for the friends and relatives of the 16 people murdered by a gunman who opened fire at two separate sites in Lewiston.
I wish I could take that pain off your hearts, off your shoulders, but I promise you this, we will all help you carry that grief.
Hundreds of law enforcement officers are seeking the suspect, Robert Card, a trained firearms instructor. The White House, meanwhile, has lowered its flags in honor of the Maine shooting victims.
President Biden is ordering flags be flown at half-staff as a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless acts of violence in Lewiston, Maine. The White House proclamation says flags at all public buildings, military posts, and naval vessels, and U.S. embassies should remain at half-staff until sunset on Monday, October 30th.
That's White House correspondent Greg Cluxton. Outside Israel's Ministry of Defense last night, demonstration by relatives of those taken captive by Hamas.
I want my brother back now. I want him safe. I want to make sure that he's taken care of. I want to know what his condition.
That is Ido Shamriz. He says his brother is still among those missing. The nation's economy expanded at a surprisingly high rate, 4.9% to be precise, from July through September. Here's correspondent Jeremy House.
The economy expanded last quarter at the fastest pace in more than 2 years and more than twice the 2.1% annual rate of the previous quarter. Analysts say Americans defied higher prices, rising interest rates, and widespread forecasts of a recession to spend at a brisk pace. Thursday's report on the nation's gross domestic product showed that consumers drove the acceleration, ramping up their spending on everything from cars to restaurant meals.
Correspondent Jeremy House. More on these stories at townhall.com.
In a world where financial landscapes can change rapidly, safeguarding your savings and retirement accounts is paramount. Direct Bullion USA is more than just the #1 rated gold bullion dealer in America. We're your trusted partner in navigating the uncertainties of hyperinflation and political upheaval around the world. Direct Bullion USA can provide you with the knowledge and resources to fortify your financial stability and protect what matters most. Call us now at 888-787-GOLD. Precious metals like gold and silver have been a safe haven investment for hundreds of years. Get started when you call Direct Bullion USA at 888-787-4653 and get your free gold investing starter kit today. All it takes is one call to 888-787-GOLD. Take control of your retirement and protect your future with Direct Bullion USA. Call 888-787-4653. That's 888-787-GOLD.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Our warm but unsettled weather pattern still locked in, so we're mostly cloudy again today. Scattered showers in the midday and afternoon, up to 78 with a breezy wind out of the south. Lots of dry time overnight tonight. Skies go partly cloudy, down to 65 for the low. Temperatures spike tomorrow, though. Friday's high at 82, but watch out. Here comes a sharp cold front. Could even see a few storms along that front in the afternoon. Much cooler this weekend. Highs in the upper 40s to low 50s with occasional rain. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Hi, Chris Arps here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event will take place on Tuesday, November 14th at the Factory in the District in the Chesterfield Valley. Hear from the experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2024 and beyond. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by sending an email to emails@royalbanksnet.com or by calling 314-212-1545. Royal Banks, Missouri, the community bank that is in your community.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Mystic Fix is sponsored by Kama Flight, redefining the dance between the masculine and feminine. Kama Flight is a somatic movement practice merging yoga, meditation, and massage. Workshops in 2023 are at the Chosen Retreat Center in Sebastian, Florida. For more, visit Kama Flight on Instagram at KAMAFLIGHT.
This Saturday night at 10 on Stories of New Americans.
I'm joined today by Anwuli Okwashi from Nigeria.
I didn't want to get my master's in a Nigerian university. Okay. The standard for me wasn't something I felt was worth it. If I'm going to actually improve my skills, if I'm going to improve my marketability, the US was my top destination.
Stories of New Americans, Saturday nights at 10 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Katie, reminding you to subscribe to our show podcast so you never miss anything that happens here at News Talk STL. Get our podcasts every day on the show pages at newstalkstl.com, or just subscribe to your favorite shows on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
Folks, listen, protect yourself at all costs. Protect yourself. I'm already seeing it. It's predictable, it's sad, it's tragic. You know, social media is the great democratizer of information. It's great that, a guy who works for a living and doesn't have time to be, say, a journalist or whatever that means these days. But it's great that you can go on social media, True Social and Twitter and Facebook, and you can have and express an opinion and you can develop an audience. I've got friends of mine on social media who are, moms and dads and electricians and pilots who've developed, six-figure followings on Twitter and other platforms because people value their opinions. Social media is a great thing, but there is a downside to it, and we shouldn't ignore that. And the downside to it is, while most of you are smart and intelligent and will do the right thing and use the platform responsibly to get out ideas you believe in, a lot of people don't. And they'll use it to put out ideas that are really stupid that are probably going to get you killed one day. So we had a tragedy last night in Lewiston, and of course it wasn't but 10, 20, 30 seconds, if that, before a bunch of people started screaming about. What the crazy part also is that this is after a terror attack where a bunch of people who did not have access to weapons were murdered in cold blood by a bunch of demon savages. We had a bunch of people calling for, of course, gun control, which is a myth. Guns have never been controlled. Guns will never be controlled. If you could tell me a place on planet Earth where guns are controlled, I'll tell you you're crazy because you're making it up. Now, for those of you out there, liberals that are salivating right now going, I want to call in the show and tell Dan about Australia. I want to encourage you to do your actual homework because there are more guns now in Australia than there were before gun control in Australia. So if you're going to attribute some drop in gun crime to lesser guns in Australia, you're actually making the opposite argument, because if there is lesser gun crime in Australia, there are now more guns. So your argument actually works in reverse. And you can check that out, by the way. I encourage you to look at it. I know information isn't your thing. You've been vaccinated against facts in addition to other things, but you can go check that out. Folks, if you take advice from the left, you're going to find yourself getting killed. Don't do it. Don't do it. Listen, I live in the world as it is, not the world as it should be. And for your own safety and the safety of your family, I encourage you to do the same. I don't think a single human being on planet Earth who is sane and rational, if Almighty God were to come down tomorrow and say, humanity, I have a choice for you. Moving forward, there's going to be no weapons, no access to them. It's going to be impossible. Therefore, there's going to be no death by weapon. If you guys are going to get into fights, you're going to have to slap it out or fight it out. But I will not allow weapons anymore. I think everyone would say, all right, well, fair enough. I'll take that deal, right? But that's not the world we live in. The world we live in has hundreds of millions of weapons, billions of weapons, hundreds of millions of firearms. And it's full of really bad people who would use them against you in a heartbeat. And anyone tells you otherwise is lying to your face. Folks, we've been Homo sapiens for quite a long time now. And no one has found a cure for the violence that plagues the human heart. Nobody. There's no pill for it. There's no nothing. It's always there, lurking in the background. You know, Arendt talked about the banality of evil all the time. You have two choices. You can defend yourself against it, or you can become a victim of it, and that's it. Listen, I'm going to give you some practical advice after what happened in Lewiston, Maine last night, and also what happened, because the death these people met was the same way, by bad people who used weapons to do awful things to good, innocent people. These people can't be negotiated with. They don't want to hear your story. They don't want to hear anything. All they want to do is kill you. It's genuinely awful that we have to talk like this. But again, I live in the world as it is, not as I want it to be. So you have a couple choices in a situation like that. You can run, and you should. If you can get away, you should do everything in your power to avoid a conflict. And by the way, it's just some practical advice for real life. If you're walking down the street and you see a belligerent group of people that sound all drunk about to cause you problems, there's no need to be anybody's hero, ladies and gentlemen. Walk across the street and save yourself the drama of getting involved in a conflict you didn't need to be involved in. However, if some lunatic bursts in a bowling alley without firearm, getting ready to do damage to you or others or potentially kill you, then you should try to get away as quick as you can. Run. If you can't run, run. If you really can't run, run again. And if you really, really can't get away and you were forced into a corner, you are going to have to fight back to save your life. It should not be your first, second, third, fourth, or fifth option. You should take you and your family and get the hell out of there as soon as you can. You're dealing with someone in an asymmetric fight who is probably drugged, potentially mentally ill, has no empathy or sympathy for any living being whatsoever, which leaves you in an asymmetric fight there. Also, if you're armed, you're probably armed with a handgun. This guy clearly had a rifle, so you're going to be ballistically outmatched as well. But if you have to fight back, fight like your life depends on it, because it does. Folks, this is the world we live in right now. You can be depressed about it, or we can make it better. You know, every time I get down, I think that prior generations have had it far worse than us. We had a generation of Americans who fought brother versus brother in the Civil War. We had enslaved Americans. We had Americans who had to sit at segregated lunch counters. We had race riots in the 60s. We had young kids shipped off to Vietnam coming back in boxes. We had my grandfather fighting in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II, along with a lot of your grandfathers on Utah Beach and Normandy Beach and elsewhere. The world has always had violence and chaos. It's the world we live in. It's got a lot of beauty as well. But that's the world as it is. And all these lefties out there on Twitter, after a shocking terror attack and a massacre last night in Maine, talking about gun control, are going to get you killed. Do you understand the basic physics of the situation? An individual fully intent on doing damage to you has an object that can propel another object at thousands of feet per second that can kill you. And just to be clear, lefties, your argument back is make sure you don't have a similar object to fight back because of laws or something. You understand the guy coming in to do damage in your kibbutz, in a bowling alley or anywhere else, gives exactly 0 damns about the law. On the I give a scale, he gives 0. He doesn't care. Matter of fact, I take that back, as I've said, criminals, terrorists, and communists actually really love gun laws because their prey are then unarmed. You know, if you follow social media, you see these liberals, they often do this. They'll tell these fake stories. I was with my kid in a Starbucks and a Trump supporter said, they're making those up. When I tell you a story, believe me, it happened. When you're a new guy and you're a cop, especially in a busy precinct, they put you in all the crap jobs. TS, the telephone switchboard, the assistant desk guy where you're giving out radios. You don't get to do anything cool till you're, in uniform probably 3-4 months, like go out on patrol and get bad guys and stuff. And one of the other assignments, probably the worst, is the cells. All these precincts have a holding cell. When you get arrested, they put you in a holding cell before you get transported to central booking. And maybe over to Rikers after that. Depends. But the holding cell, there's always a couple cops in there. And in my precinct, when I was a new guy, I would do it. So I would make a point. I'd walk around and talk to these guys. They'd all been Mirandized, of course. And some of them would want to chat. They get bored. You ask them questions like, what about these, gun laws and stuff? Like these guys arrested for CPW and stuff. Criminal possession of a weapon. Like, you guys don't care about gun laws? I mean, every single one, almost to a T, would say, yeah, gun law. What are you, crazy? Gun laws. Like, they don't even know what the hell the gun laws are. Gun laws. They care about gun law. They love gun laws. They get to shoot you. You don't get to shoot back. So the point's pretty clear. If the bad guys who would do harm to you with an object that propels another object at thousands of feet per second, which can kill you, don't care about laws restricting them and will get these things anyway, wouldn't you want the ability to fight back? The lefty answer apparently is no, I don't. I just want to be on the receiving end. Oh, okay. Well, you go ahead and do that. I'm not doing that. And the saddest part about this whole thing is this thing just happened again. And because of social media and the ability of good people to put out stuff, but idiots to, of course, express an opinion and start a fight, they've already started the political argument about disarming you, as if you think about it. A bunch of innocent people, thousands over just the last month between what happened in Israel and here. Thousands were needlessly slaughtered, burned alive, shot, strangled, raped, beheaded with garden tools. And the lefty answer is to that, although you've done nothing wrong, the lefty answer to that is you should definitely disarm yourself. You know what? In any sane world, you would look at and listen to people like that and you'd be like, you're freaking crazy, right? Like, you're not being real right now, correct? So I didn't do anything wrong. Good, innocent people are being attacked with weapons. And I shouldn't be able to defend myself against said weapons. Matter of fact, I should forfeit them to you while they still have them because you said so? In any sane world, these people would be laughed at and mocked. But because Democrats don't really believe in gun control is a tool of social control, they continue with the nonsense talking points. Folks, if the Democrats thought guns were inherently the problem, then why do Democrat politicians surround themselves with men with guns? I had Piers Morgan once, I think it was him on that show we used to have, suggest something to the effect of, you were in the Secret Service and Biden doesn't need a gun. And I was something like that about the White House. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, are you suggesting like the average American citizen? Oh, yeah, you know what? You want to give me the Secret Service budget is over $1 billion. You want to give me $1 billion armed security detail? Yeah, I probably wouldn't need to carry a gun. I think it was Piers who said it. I was like, you're comparing the White House to the average citizen? Like, are you insane? You understand lefties live in the world as they think it should be, not as it is. You understand the recipe for disaster that is for you economically, educationally, and public safety-wise? There is sadly evil lurking around every corner. If you're lucky, you'll go your 90 years of life and you'll only stare it in the face a couple times. If you're not, you won't make it half that long because it'll get you first. But you owe it to yourself to train and protect yourself and your family. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your family. Nobody's coming for you. I love my police officer brothers and sisters. Love them to death. They do an amazing job. But let's be honest, even in a city like New York, that probably has 20,000 sworn uniformed police officers. They have 8 million residents. You do the math. They're not your personal security force. They're there to enforce the law. All right, folks, we got a big show today. I got a lot to talk about. Yesterday's news cycle, again, was just a lot to deal with. We got the speaker. The Obama 911 tape came out with the chef. The Biden story at Fox News. A lot to get to. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Bongino. Dr. Gorka here, and I want to talk to you for a minute about 100% drug-free Relief Factor. I've been taking Relief Factor for years now to help me deal with pain in my body. My wife takes it as well. The reason we tell everyone we know about it is simple. We found it really works to help our bodies fight off the inflammation that causes aches and pains. Whether it's the pain of injuries you've sustained or just the natural pains from the mileage over the years, Relief Factor can help. I've never looked back. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it works for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Feel the difference.
Dan Bongino.
America Decides 2024 is heating up. News Talk STL has got you covered. Join us, along with Americans for Prosperity, for a debate watch party at Westport Playhouse Wednesday, November 8th. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the program starting at 6:30. At 7, we'll watch the presidential debate live on the big screens together. Enjoy a lively night at this free ticketed event.
America Decides 2024.
Only from your home for America Decides 2024, News Talk STL, and Americans for Prosperity. Seats are limited. Reserve your spot today at newstalkstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Are you or someone you know providing or managing care for a loved one today? Did you know there could be more cost-efficient solutions for funding long-term care, even those currently living in a skilled care facility today? Financial strategist and long-term care specialist Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management can show you tax-efficient strategies available to help your family manage care concerns, whether planning for the future or managing care for a loved one today. Solutions exist to provide the financial peace of mind you deserve.
Hi, I'm Chris Cooper, and I'd love to send you a free copy of my new book, A CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care. You'll learn about strategies to empower you and your family, protect your savings, and make sure your loved ones get the quality of care they deserve.
Request your free copy of Chris's book by visiting SerenityLTC.com. That's SerenityLTC.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Speaking to former U.S. Senator Jim Talent.
Proportionality doesn't mean that you only go in and kill as many people as were killed, in your own country. You inflict the damage to the extent that you need to in order to accomplish the mission, which in this case is to destroy the military capabilities of Hamas. That's going to be a lot more damage than was inflicted on Israel, but it's fully justified and it's necessary to protect their security.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hey guys, Columbo here, reminding you that if you belong to an organization like a school or a church, or your kids are part of a group or a sports team that needs to raise money, there's no better way to do so than with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. TJ's Pizza has been helping local organizations raise money for over 30 years to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. A local company helping local people, and there's lots of different ways TJ's can help you raise big money fast. Get started now at tjspizza.com.
Welcome home to St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Democrats do what they do.
We choose truth over facts. News, analysis, and opinion.
The United States stands with Israel.
How did Israel miss this? This could actually happen in America. Our border is wide open.
This is when the president has to send a very clear and unmistakable message.
The atrocities we're witnessing in Israel would never have happened if I was president.
101.9 and 94.1. News United! News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
It's the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 5 gigabyte data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
We planned our investments well for retirement, but I wish we had more cash.
Don't they know they're sitting on a gold mine?
Nope, they don't know that if you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, you may be able to sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Don't lapse or surrender your policy before finding out what it's worth. Call Coventry Direct at 800-373-5200 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-373-5200. Call now.
America, land of the free, home of the Dan Bongino Show.
Jim is back today. I don't know why he's back. Most people get ill and they take a couple of days to recover because Jim doesn't listen to anyone. I'm actually quite annoyed about it. I wish he would take a break. This poor guy, man. But you look good for what it's worth, Jim. You don't actually look. You look like on Tuesday. Jim's a dedicated guy, and he was pretty banged out. And and Jim can attest to this. I had to convince him, right, Mike? I had to beg him to stay home. I'm like, Mike is fine. Mike is like Spock. He fills right in for Captain Kirk. He may tell the truth all the time, but it's fine. Like, we're going to be okay. We miss you. The audience loves you, but you can you can recover for a day. So Jim's back. We're happy to have him. Hey, a quick thank you to everyone who showed up at the Police State film last night in Stuart, Florida. I surprised everyone. Didn't tell anyone I was going to be popping into my local theater. So a bunch of people are on the line. I took a picture. If you want to see the picture, it's on my Rumble podcast today. The theater was packed. It was sold out. So I went to the beginning, in case you think I'm making this up, like the film's been taking America by storm, Police State by me and Dinesh D'Souza. I went to the front of the line, said, anyone want to be on my show tomorrow? If you don't, get out of the picture. And they all said, yes. So I took a picture, put it on my podcast. It was packed. And good news, you can pre-order the DVD. If you can't make it to the virtual premiere, which is Friday night, watching it with the rest of the country, you can pre-order the DVD at policestatefilm.net, policestatefilm.net. We're taking pre-orders now for the DVD. The movie is, it's pretty sad, but worth seeing. It's, you'll see where America's at right now. So surprised a lot of folks last night. Met a lot of nice people, including a lady who said she moved from Massachusetts to Florida. Nice conservative lady, because I had told her Florida was great. So welcome, all you conservatives, to the great state, the sunshine state of Florida. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit more about the world as it is. I'll get that on the other side of break. But also we have a speaker. All the right people seem really ticked off. And I'll say again what I said yesterday. For everyone taking a victory lap and popping champagne, let's not do any of that. We don't fall in love with people. We fall in love with outcomes. I probably said it enough. You're sick and tired of hearing about it. But shockingly, I still saw people this morning on Twitter. Everybody owes this guy an apology. We won. What did we win? Well, I don't understand what we won. We haven't won anything. Nothing. Are you feeling overwhelmed thinking about the upcoming holidays? It's hard to think about when everything's more expensive and your credit cards are already pushed to the max. Now's the time to pay off that debt, get your finances under control before the holiday season. If you're a homeowner, American Financing can help you access the equity in your home for instant savings. They're saving homeowners just like you an average of $700 a month. Think about how that money could help you and your family. If you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. You may be able to do that, giving you extra holiday funds. It costs absolutely nothing to find out how much you can save. Holidays are going to be here before you know it. So call their salary-based mortgage consultants today. It's a great company, American Financing. Here's the number, 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660. Or you can visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net, 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 NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Dan Bongino. If you're not...
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. It's a dark day in Maine after a gunman opened fire last night, killing at least 16 victims in a pair of shootings in Lewiston and nearby Lisbon. Maine Governor Janet Mills is reassuring hurting families better days lie ahead and that the community will heal. Auburn, Maine Mayor Jason Levesque says a local bowling alley and restaurant were full of people enjoying the evening, partly because of nice weather. Police are searching for Robert Card, a trained firearms instructor believed to be in the Army Reserve. He is the suspect at this point. Representative Mike Johnson from Louisiana says the House is ready to get back to work. Johnson was elected Speaker on Wednesday after getting support from all Republican members. The United Auto Workers Union says it's reached a tentative contract agreement with Ford that could be a breakthrough to end the nearly 6-week-old strikes against the Detroit automakers. You'll find more on these stories at srnnews.com.
In a world where financial landscapes can change rapidly, safeguarding your savings and retirement accounts is paramount. Direct Bullion USA is more than just the #1 rated gold bullion dealer in America. We're your trusted partner in navigating the uncertainties of hyperinflation and political upheaval around the world. Direct Bullion USA can provide you with the knowledge and resources to fortify your financial stability and protect what matters most. Call us now at 888-787-GOLD. Precious metals like gold and silver have been a safe haven investment for hundreds of years. Get started when you call Direct Bullion USA at 888-787-4653 and get your free gold investing starter kit today. All it takes is one call to 888-787-GOLD. Take control of your retirement and protect your future with Direct Bullion USA. Call 888-787-4653. That's 888-787-GOLD.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
So what's going on?
Right here.
To me, this looks like the run-up to World War II.
News Talk STL.
They're playing with fire. Democrats are destroying the country.
News, analysis, opinion.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. I love to grill and definitely prefer using charcoal over gas. And ever since I met Jonathan Heslop and he introduced me to his product, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, I can't use anything else. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory and has been the nationally highest consumer-ranked charcoal for several years. So you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. Doesn't get any better than that. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
As winter approaches and we keep our energy-efficient homes closed, we are exposed to many different chemicals, molds, dust, virus, and bacteria floating throughout the air. Hi, I'm Everett Jones, owner of Jones Air and Water. Since 1995, Jones Air and Water has helped many breathe better and reduce allergens in their home and business. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit joneswater.com for more info. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water on the web at joneswater.com.
Get charged up on the truth. Power Punch with Larry Behrens.
Everyone's talking about the $6 billion Joe Biden sent to Iran just about a month ago. As well they should be. But did you know he has opened up the money flow to Tehran for well over a year? He doesn't want to talk about it, but we will.
Power Punch with Larry Behrens. Saturday afternoons at 4 on News Talk STL.
Get more Power Punch at powerthefuture.com.
Columbo and Katie.
It's back to business in the U.S. House, but can we expect results and unity being brought back to the Republican Party? We'll talk about it Thursday with Representative Justin Sparks and Dr. Randy Tobler.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
My heart is fine.
Gotta let that play.
My blues never drop. Lonely teardrops. Come home. Just say you will. Say you will.
All right, folks. We don't. It's not a music station here, but for those regular P1 listeners, you know, given the sad state the world is in, we haven't been doing our normal routine. We usually play Jackie Wilson on Friday. It's Thursday. We haven't done that in quite a while. But I read all your comments on Facebook, and a guy named Mike E., reached out and said, listen, man, it's been a bad week, but we need us some Jackie Wilson. I'm going into surgery tomorrow. This is him talking, not me. I'm not going into surgery. And I could really use a boost. So, Mike, that's for you, buddy. And next week, we're going to get back to it because, yes, the world, there is a lot of really evil, and I use that word intentionally, evil stuff going on. But there's still a lot of beauty in it. And if you read a really powerful book by Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning, you'll see Frankl gives his account of being in the Nazi death camps, and how even then, if you still had hope, those were the people who survived. It's a profound, life-changing book. How when people give up hope, it's all over. He says there was nothing the Nazis could do to them. Once they gave up hope, that was it. You could beat them, electrocute them, they wouldn't move. They wouldn't get out of bed. Matter of fact, they'd run right into the wire. The wire was electrified, so that's how they'd kill themselves. They would just run into the wire. But the book is just, it's an eye-opening just manifesto on how to handle despair. And I think even in our worst moments, we should still try to see the beauty in life. And there's a lot of it, folks. There's a lot of it. You know, prior generations to us have been alive in really horrible times. I mean, just think about it. The ancestors of some of our Black American citizens, some of them were slaves. Some of them had to sit at segregated lunch counters. I mean, this happened. These are historical facts. Some of your grandfathers stormed the beaches of Normandy and Utah Beach and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. They did that, staring down German Nazi machine gun nests when they were 18 years old. In crazy bravery. A lot of your fathers and grandfathers fought over in Vietnam in a war a lot of people didn't understand or didn't want to understand. You had brother against brother, your great-great-great-grandfathers in the Civil War. So I just need you to understand that despite what happened in the horror last night in Maine, and what happened in Israel, and what's going to likely happen here too, that life continues to move forward. Be vigilant, stay frosty, protect yourself at all costs. Live in the world as it is, not as it should be, but live in the world. I'm not into this whole like manifesting stuff. I mean, a lot of people are, you do you, but I am a big believer in that there's a lot about this life we don't understand. And that your personal energy, man, is real. I'm not your like chi instructor or whatever. Just telling you, if you're going to focus on the negative, the world's going to be a negative place. If you're going to focus on positive things that happen, then the world's going to be a positive place. The irony is the world is the same place for both of us. It just is. I say that because I find myself in that negative zone a lot too, especially in times like this. But just one last thought in regards to what happened in Maine yesterday. Folks, let me, and people like us, handle the politics and stuff. Sadly, I wish it weren't injected into these things immediately, but they are. But in the next few days, I can't encourage you in strong enough terms to ignore and black out a lot of these left-wing ridiculous calls that are going to get you hurt. You disarming yourself while criminals continue to laugh at and mock gun laws and terrorists acquire these things. You're looking at a very asymmetric situation with guaranteed death. You can protect yourself or you can die. That's it. And the fact that, as I had it on yesterday's, I'm not sure if it's on today, but yesterday's rundown, we did a story in the New York Post, how Jewish Americans, many of whom, it says in the article, I'm not giving you my words, it's their words, who wouldn't have previously ever thought about buying a gun, are flocking to gun ranges to purchase guns and train because they're realizing for the first time that what I said is right. Savages and criminals don't care about gun laws. They care about death, pain, and destruction. And that's the only thing you can give them. That is it. Color me skeptical. But when you grow up as a cop and then you go into the other side of work on the federal side and you see in the streets what happens, you start to realize that the liberals do not live in the world as it is. They live in the world that they think should be. All right, so a couple things happened yesterday. It was just an insane news day. We got a new speaker, Mike Johnson, and all the right people seem annoyed, folks. So as I keep saying, to the point where it's probably, by the way, let me know on the Facebook, if this is really annoying you to death, then just let me know because the show's for you. But again, I saw it this morning, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up again. A bunch of people on Twitter who are supposedly like our folks, like we owe this guy an apology and that guy an apology, and this was a great success. And the first thing that came to my mind is, why does anybody owe anybody an apology for anything? Everyone's allowed to have an opinion about a political maneuver, number one, no apology needed. But second, what's this? I don't understand what we're celebrating. Well, we got a speaker and he's a conservative. Great. Well, shouldn't we be celebrating? Why? Well, because he's a conservative. Great. Is he going to do conservative stuff? I don't know. Okay. Well, maybe when you know, we should celebrate, right? I'm just guessing, right? I mean, let's maybe give you a quick example. Didn't the Mets, they hired Buck Showalter, right? Or something like that. He managed the Yankees too, and he was a relatively successful manager for the Yankees. Same as Buck Showalter. Nice guy, Buck. He was before Joe Torre. And when Buck Showalter left, all the Yankee fans were annoyed because it was like, now we're never going to win a World Series. Joe Torre's managed before. He managed the Atlanta Braves, right? I think, Jim. And he really was not the greatest manager, they thought. Right? Joe Torre's record wasn't even that great. So a lot of people were really ticked off. And they said, these stories are great because they so apply to politics, and maybe it'll make sense why I don't kiss anybody's ass. Oh, this is so great. We got this guy. We should put Matt Gaetz on a throne and walk him around town. Okay, great. I'm sure he's a great guy. You do that. I'm not doing that. So when they let go of Buck Showalter, Yankee fans were horrified. Remember that, Jim? They were like, this guy brought us to the playoffs. What are you, crazy? Yankees haven't been in the playoffs since Reggie Jackson. So he goes and starts managing the Mets or whatever. And I'm thinking of a scenario where you get a great guy like Buck Showalter, and the Mets are already planning their World Series party while the Yankees are planning their demise because they hired Joe Torre. And Joe Torre had been a good manager, but not like an amazing manager. So the Yankees are planning their demise, and the Mets have already rented space in the Rainbow Room or whatever for their World Series party. Well, what happened? Well, the Yankees went on to win multiple World Series. Mets did okay, but not as good. Even though they had the manager who the Yankees didn't want to let go. My point in the whole thing is maybe you shouldn't rent the space for the World Series party or predict your own demise until you actually win the damn World Series. I'm just throwing that out there. What do you think, Jim? Okay idea? Like maybe we win it first before we start, right? So we got a CR coming up soon. So that's the bad side. There's a bad side and a good side. The bad side is people are celebrating too soon. The good side is I do think Mike Johnson is a relatively conservative guy. And if my friend Moon Griffon on KPEL, who knows him really well, says Johnson's a pretty conservative guy, I think he's going to push for conservative stuff. And I want you to know I'm realistic. Anyone telling you that now we got this super conservative guy and we're going to cut government spending by 50% is crazy. We have 1/2 of 1/3 of government with a 4-seat majority. So I'm totally realistic. But I would like to see something. If we can get something major in a concession out of the Biden team using our 1/2 of 1/3 of government, it'd be pretty cool. Border security. If we could get something, I'll be okay because I'm not unrealistic. I understand. I know a lot of people like Wall Street Journal editorial board and a lot of the serious people at National Review, whatever, they think radio hosts like me, they're a bunch of crazy cretins ginning up the base. I'm doing no such thing. I'm being realistic with the base. We have 1/2 of 1/3 of government with a 4-seat majority. And Johnson appears to be a conservative guy. So the good news is we probably can get some stuff done, even if they're marginal improvements. And more good news is all the right people are annoyed. When CNN hates the pick of Mike Johnson and says the quiet part out loud, ladies and gentlemen, for me, that's a win. It's like, yes, that's a W, baby. I'll take that. Because if CNN went on the air and was like, this guy's the greatest pick, man. We love this guy. We can work with this guy. What's the first thing you do, Jim? I'm like, he's out. He's out. Fire this guy. But motion to vacate tomorrow. But it doesn't matter. Get rid of this guy tomorrow. Oh, CNN and MSNBC are terrified. Here's Gloria Borger at CNN lamenting the fact that she can't demonize Mike Johnson. This is a great cut. She says the quiet part out loud. Check this out.
No, I think he is a person who's hard to demonize. You know, it's very easy to demonize somebody like a Jim Jordan, who's a firebrand. He's out there, he's fighting. And then Donald Trump can demonize an Emmer because he didn't believe the election was rigged. But you have this kind of, I don't want to use the word milquetoast. That's not quite the right word. He's a serious person who is not prone to getting in big, huge fights with people. He is known as a listener, I was told. He is hugely conservative, but he doesn't wear it on his sleeve all the time.
If CNN hates him, I think there's potential there. By the way, everybody loves it except one guy. He's had enough of it. He doesn't want to hear anymore. Wait enough. Okay, but you're outnumbered like 55-1. If CNN don't like the guy, I say we're off to a good start. It gets even better, however. MSNBC is really annoyed by the guy. And they're really annoyed by new speaker Mike Johnson because Mike Johnson, get a load of this, Jim. This guy's got some pair on him. Mike Johnson, who is a lawyer and a constitution one, he had some questions about the 2020 election. Oh, well, wait, what? You're not allowed to. The 2020 election, it was the safest, Jim, it was the safest, freest, fairest election in human history. 81 million votes, brother. Did you know that? There wasn't a single instance of fraud. Not one, Jim. You've heard. People told you that too? Oh, so I'm not the only one. Folks, the 2020 election was the freest, fairest, greatest. It should be a beatified election. It should be called the Saint 2020 election. Nothing of every single vote was on the up and up. Every one. So there's nothing MSNBC hates more when they learn that Mike Johnson had some questions about the 2020 election, which makes him good with me because I have a bunch of questions too. Like, why did Pennsylvania unconstitutionally change its election laws? Why were we trying mass mail-in balloting during a presidential election, despite a record of fraud recognized by even the New York Times in their 2012 piece by Adam Liptak that noted that mail-in balloting has double the rate of rejections and they have signature verification problems? Why is it that they rigged the election in the media by hiding the Hunter Biden story? So I've got some questions. MSNBC is really big mad, though, that Mike Johnson had some questions, too. Take a listen.
Be striking that the person that they put up for this job maybe wasn't cited all over the January 6th report, though there is at least one mention of him in there. But instead, he's someone who simply provided some of the attempted rationale for how to overturn an election. And I'm glad, frankly, that you played the clip from last night when they invited reporters in for a quote unquote press conference and then said no policy questions. But I tried similarly today when he walked down the very steps that I'm standing on right now and spoke with reporters for once again what they called a press conference and didn't take questions. I shouted quite loudly about whether or not he thought the 2020 election results were legitimizing for Biden and if he believed that Biden was the legitimately elected president of the United States. And he once again ignored those questions. And so I know that some people might say it's in the past, but certainly January 6th and 2020 looms so large over this building every single day. And now you have someone in the presidential line of succession who helped with that rationale in a key way that Republican members of Congress were using his legal bases that were, of course, flimsy and non-constitutional, but were trying to use them as their rationale for why they voted against certifying the election results. I think that that's extremely striking and speaks to where the party is right now.
Guy just messaged me, Jim. He said, I'm listening in my earbuds, and every time I hear you say Mike Johnson, it sounds like Mike Johnson. It's not Mike Johnson. It's Mike Johnson. Am I good? Mike is not the speaker. Mike Johnson. That would be really weird. Be kind of gross. I have to be a Democrat. I don't want to do that. The funny thing about this MSNBC host melting down about questions about the 2020 election, which I'm actually glad it puts Mike Johnson on my A-list for doing that, is we're not going to have time to play this here, Jim, but we got a little montage. We'll play it next. That their choice for speaker, every single Democrat voted for Hakeem Jeffries, is the biggest election denier of all. Jim was kind enough to put together a little montage of the Democrats' choice for speaker, who is the biggest election denier of all. And of course, the media has no problem with that at all. More on that coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Want to know how to get the same cell coverage for up to half the cost? Well, instead of spending a fortune building and maintaining their own cell phone towers, Consumer Cellular just pays to use the same towers as the largest carriers and passes the savings on to you. Pretty smart, huh? Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. Many timeshare owners have come to us this year with significant increases in their maintenance fees. With our A-plus rating and over 800 5-star reviews on the BBB, our clients know Lone Star Transfer is the only company they can trust. We guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Call for a free, no obligation consultation, 844-284-4864, or online at LoneStarTransfer.com.
Dan Bongino.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the NewstalkSTL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
This is the perfect time to upgrade your home. Mike Ferguson here from my friends at Window World. Their number is 314-993-1800. Improve your home with Window World's double-strength glass windows. Those come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. 314-993-1800. Get a free in-home estimate. Window World is the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800 or windowworld.com.
In a world where heroes walk among us, shines the David Dorn Foundation. Named after a true hero, our foundation empowers those who risk their lives to protect us every day. We stand tall with unwavering dedication to provide our first responders with equipment often not supplied.
But we can't do it alone. We need your generosity of a few volunteer hours to provide our first responders with the tools they desperately need to save lives and keep our communities safe. Visit dornfoundation.com now to be part of our critical progress.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
That's what happens if you're a Republican and you're accused of lying to the FBI.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
What does the FBI do? The FBI lies to Congress. The Attorney General lies to Congress. The Director of Homeland Security lies to Congress. And then what happens? Nothing happens.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
Because as we all know now, the FBI, the DOJ have become nothing more than the enforcement arm of the leftist government.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
So we finally got the parts for the time machine.
Classic Kicks Country is streaming now. Hear all your new country favorites from the 90s. Streaming as it happened in the 90s. Classic Kicks. Download the Classic Kicks app from the App Store. Online at ClassicKicks.com. Or enable the Classic Kicks skill on Alexa. 90s new country streaming now. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
It's Thursday at 4:20. We'll speak with the Heritage Foundation's Dakota Wood, and at 5:20 we'll speak with Johnny Harper, 1983 Beirut bombing survivor.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Turn it up to make sure your liberal neighbors finally hear some common sense. The Dan Bongino Show.
So if election denying is a thing, by the way, Jim, do you deny an election happened? You didn't. So an election did happen. So you're not an election denier? Oh, you voted in it, so it happened. So Mike, what about you? Are you an election denier? Do you deny an election happened? No, Mike's like, nah, I'm pretty sure I voted in it too. Yeah. Now, an election questioner? Yeah, pretty accurate. I got some questions about that election. You're damn right. I'm going to continue to ask them. But if there is an election denier out there by the left's own label, it's definitely Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, Hakeem Jeffries, he's a Democrat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, he is. Get to that in a second. For 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, trust me, they're the only one. Glenn and the team have been great supporters of this show. They love you guys. That's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all three major networks. It means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message you support free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, Second Amendment, and our military, veteran, and first responder heroes. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use the offer code Dan. Join me and make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Dan. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT.
Dan Bongino.
Jim, play that cut, and if we bump up against the clock, we'll cut out of it. Here's election denier Hakeem Jeffries.
There is a cloud of illegitimacy around the election of Donald Trump.
Russia interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They were successful.
There is clearly a cloud of illegitimacy hanging over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that's growing bigger by the day.
There's a cloud of illegitimacy that continues to hang over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
So-called president of the United States. So-called president. So-called president. So-called president.
So no one finds it a little bit odd that MSNBC is losing their marbles over now Speaker Mike Johnson, the fact that he had legitimate questions about the 2020 election, yet every single Democrat voted for Democrat Hakeem Jeffries for Speaker, who openly believed the 2016 presidential election was illegitimate. Explain to me again how that makes sense and what planet. Is it like Bizarro Superman world? Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats and the media are total garbage. Garbage. Flush them down the toilet bowl. Total garbage. Pay no attention to these idiots. They don't have an ounce of principle. They're nothing but losers.
Hey, Tim Jones here with Tony Colombo for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner at the Wallner Home Selling Team. If you're thinking about taking advantage of the market and selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now. Put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. Rodney and Jen have the experience and work ethic that sets them apart from all the rest. That's why they sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor and have so many qualified buyers right now. They'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. The results, Tony, speak for themselves.
That's right, Tim. In fact, I recently benefited from those results personally. My wife and I couldn't be happier with the job the Wallners did for us, selling our old home in less than 2 days for significantly more than we were asking for and finding us the perfect new home. Like so many others, we loved working with Rodney and Jen, the Wallner Home Selling Team with Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
Attention. This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. That's 800-797-0711.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A dark day in Maine after a gunman opened fire last night, killing at least 16 victims in a pair of shootings in Lewiston and nearby Lisbon. Maine Governor Janet Mills.
I know it's hard for us to think about healing when our hearts are broken. But I want every person in Maine to know that we will heal together.
Auburn, Maine Mayor Jason LaVeck says a local bowling alley and restaurant that the shootings took place at were full of people enjoying the evening, partly because of nice weather outside, he explained to NBC Today.
You know, our joint bowling alley, if you would, is in Lewiston. And, you know, bowling is a great pastime, and we love it. And there was a youth league that night. Smegmies is a wonderful place.